I said, plug me in. I got stuff to talk about, damn it. I'll crawl out of my earbuds once a week to give you a show. That's what I do, folks. I do this show for the common man, for the people in despair. I bring this show into the world and I sell it everywhere. The simple truth lies waiting here, folks, for all of you to share. Hold on, I will take you there. Hey, what's happening? Mike Schmidt, 40-Year-Old Boy Podcast. I just threw up in a Wendy's. Enjoy yourself, folks. How's that grab you? That was my lunch. Well, it wasn't exactly my lunch. That was the aftermath of my lunch. Things happen. Things changed a little bit at Wendy's this afternoon, folks. I went to a Wendy's. Well, I'll tell you this. I was supposed to be here a little earlier to record Lily, and then my morning got away from me. And things went, they went running rampant. I did not have the reins. I could not whoa the horses. And so my stagecoach completely smashed into a Wendy's, and then I wound up throwing up. But here's what happened, folks. I was supposed to come over here to Lily's and start recording early. I think like noon. Was it noon I was supposed to be here?
Yes.
And wait, should I go into this story? Look, here's the thing.
I never made my deposit.
You didn't. We were going to go to a deposit, and we wound up instead. The two of us just threw up in a Wendy's. All right. Well, and you know what you should have done? You should have been throwing up money in a bank. Do we need to go make your deposit? Do we need to stop the showdown? Are you sure? Would you like me to just continue talking while you go and make your deposit? Can we do that? Because you can go ahead and take off, leaving me as the one of the three-headed monster here just recording. I would just be the only one in town. Look, we all know the 40-year-old boy is a three-headed monster. Well, if you take off, then I will just be the one head who is doing business this week, at least, because I will tell you. Well, I'll get to that in a second. So, folks, here's what happened. I was supposed to be here, and I'm just going to tell you this. Car talk is imminent. I must tell you that car talk is imminent. I wish it was not. I really wish it wasn't. Because I try to be a guy who I wish there was some sort of shading or nuance to my life. I wish there was all these different things. Because, I mean, I have plenty of stories. I got things I could tell you about. There's all sorts of stuff that has happened. And I could certainly go into some of that eventually, and I will. And I've been promising that for weeks, telling you that there's going to be this and there's going to be that. But here's the thing, though. My life is consumed right now by my vehicle or vehicles or all sorts of other vehicles. It's a goddamn mess. And you know this, folks. You all know that. And I've had people write me, and they're just like, thank God, I totally relate to your show. And I got to tell you this. I'm really glad I don't own a car. I think it was our friend Meg who said that. She was just like, yeah, I'm glad I don't have a car because, she hears all the bad things that happen with me in my car. But I must tell you, there are people all over the earth who have cars who don't have the problems that I have. These only happen because my name is Mike Schmidt. That's the only reason that I had that these car problems happen is because Mike Schmidt is involved. I told you there is stuff that happens, and Jill will look at me and she goes, really, stuff does happen to you, doesn't it? I go, yes, it does. I told you it does. It's like you don't believe me, but I'm being serious. I don't know where. I don't even remember where we last left you with our saga. I don't know where the last. Oh, I do remember. I was trying to ram my fucking head through a plate glass window. I do remember that. Although it's funny, the very act of ramming your head through a plate glass window, or the very act of attempting to ram your head through a plate glass window, would lend itself to you not remembering that you tried to ram your head through a plate glass window. However, I got a thick skull. And it protected my brain, and so I was able to remember that and bring you the story and tell you all about it. And now I can remember it now. So I smashed my head into a window because they were going to give me a loaner because of my battery. Did I talk about that? Because my car wouldn't start. I had to get it jumped. I brought it in, and it turned out, I guess, when they steam clean in the now let me ask you. Well, because I'm a little. Did I tell? We talked about this, right? Yeah, because then I got the Xterra. For the battery. Yeah, okay, good. All right, I just want because again, I feel terrible about telling you this over and over, but it's just this is my fucking life. This is it. It's, you know how a hamster runs in a wheel? I'm running in 4 wheels to connect it to a fucking shitty car. That's what I am. I'm a hamster with a shitty car. That's who I am. You know what? I should get a fucking hamster wheel. You know what I should do? I should just get a big fucking round bubble like Wayne Coyle from the Flaming Lips and just run around the neighborhoods like that. That's how I should get around these days, folks. I should just fucking jog in a bubble on top of your hands. Could you just do me a favor? Could you buy some tickets to see me and I'll throw myself in a plastic bubble and just run on top of you and we'll get me everywhere? Can I just hire some of you to just come up and show me where I should go, and I'll just get the bubble and you'll put it aloft. You'll hold me aloft and I will run in it, and you will take me to wherever I have to go. That sounds like a plan, right? You people love me. You guys like me. You might think enough of me to go ahead and help me get places that I need to go, and I don't have to go and fucking bang my head through a plate glass fucking window. I'll tell you what. Here's a better idea. Why don't I get a fucking bubble made out of glass? And I will constantly ram my head into it while you guys carry me aloft, and I bring myself to wherever I'm supposed to go. You don't think so? I fill a glass bubble with me and barbecue, and then I Travis it, and I got some people just fucking carrying me around Flintstone style. That'd be awesome. Well, when I say Flintstone style, it just means you're using your feet. You wouldn't be carrying me like the Flintstones. Have you heard about the Flintstones? Oh, meet the Flintstones. They're the modern Stone Age family. That made me think of Night Shift, actually. Flintstones, meet the Flintstones. All right, so, folks. They steam cleaned my engine. Got out the gunk. And all that, and I told you that, and then I brought it in because it needed to be jumped. So I brought it in, and they're like, dude, what happened to your car? And I'm like, you're the car guys. I have no idea. Last time I saw it, it was working, and I dropped it here, and then I took it home, and it was no longer working, as you know. And then they gave me the Xterra, and I pounded my head into the glass. So I took the Xterra, and I absconded. I went off into the world, and I worked, and I delivered, and I made things happen because I had a big enough car. And I will tell you this about the Xterra. It drove me fucking crazy, the Nissan Xterra. It's kind of a cube, so it's a little square. I'm not a fan of shapes. I like a car shaped like a car. I don't want to drive a rhombus around town. Fuck all that. But sure enough, I'm in the Xterra, and it's a little bigger than the Murano. It's a little weird. I got a little more headroom, and it's a little wider. But here's the worst part, okay? The doors, I will assume the doors. Let's talk about all four doors. But I mean, I'm talking about the one door because this is the only door that I really dealt with. The door next to me, the driver's side door, the driver's side front door, the door I had to use to get in and out of the car, folks. Am I painting this picture properly? Draw a car, ladies and gentlemen, and let's take a look at what I'm talking about. Have you ever driven a car, guys? Have you? Or do you just get around town in your own plastic bubble like Wayne from the Flaming Lips? How does it work for you? I don't know. If you decide to get a car, I'm talking about the door you use to enter where the place they keep the steering wheel is. Do you know what I'm talking about? The driver's side door, the DSD. So I'm talking about that, and I should tell you, I'm sitting in the driver's side because I'm the driver. Ostensibly, I am the driver, folks. So I'm sitting behind the steering wheel, and here's how I handle my driving. Okay, I'm not a 10 o'clock and 2 o'clock guy. I'm more of a 11 o'clock guy. Does that make sense? Normally people are like, you got your hands at 10 and 2 and you're driving and everybody's safe. Well, fuck all that. I put my left hand at 11, and then my other hand is firmly in my lap. That seems weird. That seems like, well, it wouldn't be firmly in my lap. No, I apologize. My elbow is leaning on the seat next to me. So I'm kind of in my Murano, and it's womb-like, in that I've got one hand at 11, and so my left hand is at 11 o'clock, and then my elbow rests on the driver's side door. Now, the rest of me, the other elbow, will rest on the passenger seat because there's never anybody in my car. So I'll just put that arm up, and I got that arm up, and I'm rolling in my 5.0. Got my rag top down so my hair can blow.
Is that about right?
Wow. Lily just drew the car, and it's pretty big, and I enjoy the fact that you've drawn the horns on there. But it almost looks Pippi Longstocking-esque. I like that. It looks like I have the window down and it's blowing my pigtails in the air, but I like it. Keep it. Don't futz with it. That's perfect. No, don't fix the horns. They looked great.
They're awesome now.
No, see, you suck because I loved them the way they were.
Now.
All right, well, yeah. Like that. That's fun. So I sit in the passenger seat and I'm driving. So normally in my car, like I said, my elbow rests on the thing, and I got my left hand at 11 o'clock. And then I've got my hand, where do I put my arm? Up on the passenger seat. You don't care. Have I described this properly enough for you folks? Here's how I drive a car. Oh yes, we're going for a ride. Beep, 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 beep. Oh yes, we're going for a ride. Beep, 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 beep. Good Christ. That's straight out of Sesame Street, right? What is straight out of Sesame Street? That's where, that's where NWA came from. Actually today's Sesame Street is brought to you by the letters N, W, and A. From the Dope Man. All right. So straight out of Sesame Street, crazy motherfucker named Oscar. All right. So, he's got a worm named Blinky. Is that what was his worm's name? Blinky? No, his worm wasn't named Blinky. That's a Pac-Man ghost. Oscar the Grouch did not own a Pac-Man ghost. How big was Oscar's house? Didn't they go into Oscar's house once? Like they went down into the can and it turned into, it was like Genie's bottle, right? It was like really wide and round. I have no idea. I always wondered what Oscar's house totally looked like. Because he lived in a garbage can, but I guess there was garbage inside. Like, was it totally packed with garbage? Does he like garbage that much? Because he was kind of dirty, but he was green, so I liked him. Because green's my favorite color. You know, Snuffleupagus kind of looked like Oscar. He had the same kind of matted like fur. Like you thought, like I think touching Snuffleupagus would have been like, yeah, it would have been like a rug that's got like all burrs in it and stuff. I don't like Snuffleupagus. Oh, bird. All right, so what are we talking about? Me in a car. So in the Xterra, I will tell you this. In the Murano, my left elbow lays right on. I got my lean on, folks. That's what I did. I got my drank on, and then I had my lean on. So I've got my left elbow on the door, and then I got my right elbow on the passenger seat, and my hand is at 11 o'clock, and then we're rolling. Okay. Well, in the Xterra, which is just a tiny bit larger than the Murano, but here's how large. It's large enough to where I can't. I'm going to keep my hand at 11 o'clock, okay? But I can't get my left or my right elbow onto the passenger seat because it's too far away. So every time I would get into the Xterra, I would get in, I would start it, and I should also tell you this, with the Xterra, you had to put the key in the ignition, which I don't know what barbarians at Nissan decided that was still necessary. I don't fucking get it. Every other car has a push button or a fucking key fob, but this one, no. You had to actually put your keys directly into the Xterra. So I would get in the car, I'd put my keys into the Xterra, and I would take my right arm, and I would go to lean it on the passenger seat next to me, and I mean, every time, folks, every time, because it's just such muscle memory for me to do it, I would go to put my arm and just, I would totally whiff and my right arm would miss. Every single time. I would sit in the driver's seat, start the car, and then put my arm up and I would just like gone. Just completely, it looked like I was throwing a standing elbow at the fucking seat and not knocking it out. Like I totally got all air, which is bad enough. Okay, but at least I was able to catch it because I'd be like, and literally every time I do it, I'd be like, God damn it! Like it would just, my body would make me do it, and then my mouth would just go, God damn it! Which is bad. I will tell you that's bad because you wind up getting into a habit of doing something and you just wind up doing it all the time. Well, that's a bad habit to get into, but here's a worse habit to get into in the Xterra when you have a Murano habit. I've got a Murano habit and I get into an Xterra and it completely exploits it because, like I said, I put my left hand at 11 o'clock. And I gently rest my elbow on the passenger or the driver's side door, not the passenger side door. Oh my God, that'd be quite a feat. I got my hand at 11 o'clock, my elbow's all the way over. What the fuck? How am I driving this car? I have my hand at 11 o'clock and I put my elbow up on the driver's side window door, like on the driver's side door by the window. Okay? So that's how I handle my Murano. But in the Xterra, it's a bigger car. So the door is a tiny bit lower. It might be 2 inches lower than the Murano. So every time I get in the car, I put the key in the ignition, I start it. I whiff with my right elbow and I go, God damn it. And then I put my hand at 11 o'clock and then I go to rest my elbow on the door. But because if there's 2 inches of space, my elbow goes and hits the fucking door. Every goddamn time, because it's just, and it was just like gently. I just grab it at 11 o'clock, and you go, because normally my whole arm fits nicely into that groove, and there you go. Look at this. This was made for me. But instead, I reach up, I grab it at 11 o'clock, and boom, like right the fucking. And so every time I do it, it's literally in the car in the ignition. God damn it! Ah! Because it hurt my elbow so much. Because eventually I'm doing it so often. Because I'm Travis Barbecue, so I'm delivering food, so I'm getting in and out of the car and dropping stuff off. And every time you can. I think.
Oh my God.
Do you see it?
Yes.
Okay. It's black and blue, kind of. It's fixing itself. But here, feel it. Do me a favor. No, feel this fucking elbow,
No,
dude.
I can see the
Okay,
lump in there.
I have a knot, like an egg, and this is from fucking how long ago? I still have an elbow egg. Dudes. Now look, a lot of podcasts will come at you with an Easter egg. And you'll find out about some secret thing about the host. Well, here's the secret thing about the host. My fucking elbows don't work because I've ruined them. But Nissan has ruined my elbows. Damn it. The people from Nissan have ruined my elbows. Because I would constantly grab the thing at 11 o'clock and then just wham. It would fall every single time. And I'm delivering, I've got like fucking 25 deliveries a day. Easy. So every time, I'm not joking, I'd have to put the key in the door, open it up, key in the ignition. God damn it. Ah! Key in the ignition. God damn it. Ah! Every single fucking time. And I'm not joking, every single fucking, oh, hold on. That's actually my elbow. Every single fucking time. So I have the Xterra. And again, I needed it because it needed to be bigger because I needed to accommodate the fucking Cambros for the chow. And I look, I hate the fact that that's the case. As you know, I talked about it before. Nobody wants to be this fucking guy who has like fucking a job. Nobody wants to have a job, right? None of us want to have a job. Here's what we want to do. We all want to get together like kind of a flash mob, and then we want to cart around a podcaster in a plastic bubble. That's what we want to do. Fuck yeah, that's our plan. Let's all quit our jobs and get together. You know what? Maybe I'll do that. What if I ran across America in that plastic bubble like Gump? Like, remember when Gump ran across America? He grew the fucking stupid beard, and like everybody followed him. They're like, dude, let's follow this retard on the fucking desert roads and all this. By the way, we're getting to that point. At some point, there's going to be a charismatic, mentally handicapped dude who's going to have a bunch of people follow him on the freeway. It's just going to happen. I know it is. He's going to start running and grow a beard. CNN's going to story on him, and then Nancy Grace is going to go, why aren't we following this guy? And then every idiot in the fucking world is going to go, I got to buy running shorts and follow this Forrest Gump motherfucker. And then eventually, he'll wind up in the middle of the desert, and he'll just go, yeah, you know what? I think I'm done running. I'm done. I'm finished. I'm going to go ride a riding mower and then watch Sally Field die. And then you guys are all going to be like, fuck, what am I going to do with my life now?
Oh my God.
But that's why we need me. Because I tell you what, if you put me in a plastic bubble and you put me on your shoulders and you start running me across the country, I'll never stop. I'll never stop. I mean, certainly I won't run. I'll just sit in the plastic bubble. Just put me in there with Doritos. Just like fill me up with just a fucking, literally, so I can't even move. So all you can see is my face pressed against like the side of the bubble, and it's just, I have to eat my way out because there's so many Doritos. I can't even move my arms. I can't even move my arms. Do you know I haven't had Doritos in so long, and that's why they're in my brain. Every time I see the bags, dude, I'm not, this is not like a joke. You ever seen in the cartoons when a guy turns into a turkey on a desert island and the other guy wants to eat him? That's what happens to me when I see Doritos now. Like, because I remember eating Doritos, like, you know, just fucking playing video games and eating entire bags of Doritos and just going to work and just fucking wolfing them. It was so awesome. God damn, I love Doritos. Jill was in town about like 4 bags of chips. I was like, we got to try these chips. You see those Lay's chips, the new chips? They had like the taste test. They had like wasabi ginger, and then they had bacon mac and cheese. And then they had a cappuccino. And then there's like a fourth one too. I forget what the fuck mango salsa. So those are the 4 chips, right? So I buy them. I'm like, Jill, we got to totally have a taste test. And then I made her close her eyes and pick a bag because I'm an idiot. Like, close your eyes and pick one, and then this will be our first taste test. So she opens it up, and she winds up picking bacon mac and cheese, which I was really happy that she picked that because that's the one I wanted to try. So we both tasted it. We're like, chomp, chomp, chomp. And we're like, yeah, I guess that's a chip with cheese on it. I mean, like literally, it doesn't taste like mac and cheese or bacon. It's just, dude, fuck chips. You know what? Because they keep trying to say, oh, look, we've got all these new flavors. And then you taste them and you're like, this doesn't taste anything like that flavor. It's like barbecue chips. Every time they have barbecue chips, they're like, dude, we totally got like KC Masterpiece barbecue. Oh my God, this amazing Southern barbecue. It's Memphis style barbecue all. Oh my God, listen to this Texas barbecue chip. You know what? Fuck you. It is the same goddamn red barbecue dust you have been mining from the barbecue caves for years. Don't give me your bullshit. There's no way you've made any improvements at all in the barbecue powder. It's just fucking barbecue powder. That's it. You guys have got fucking all sorts of like poor Guatemalans just mining for barbecue dust in the fucking caves beneath Kansas, and then you're coming up with buckets of it and you're sprinkling it all over chips and you're trying to proclaim it's something different and it's not. It's just goddamn barbecue chips. Quit adding adjectives. That's all you're doing. You're not adding ingredients, you're adding adjectives. And they are not as tasty as you think they are. I did not buy the cappuccino chips. I wanted to. I almost did for our taste test. I was like, you know what? We should totally buy these because I was going to buy all 4. Because you know me and my ACD or ACD. I have ACDC. I have OCD, ADD, and ACDC, which is crazy. In the beginning, back in 1955. So, man didn't know about a rock and roll show. So I was going to buy them all. And you know me. So all my Ds indicate that I need to buy all 4 for the taste test because that's the 4 that are in the contest. And I won't feel right voting in the contest if I don't taste all 4. And so I grabbed the cappuccino chips, and I'm not even joking. I was at Ralph's, and I took 3 steps, and I went, you don't even like cappuccino. Let alone motherfucking cappuccino potato chips. Because I got to be honest, the cappuccino potato chips, they sounded fucking horrible, right? They sounded fucking terrible. And again, so I don't even fucking like cappuccino. I don't even know what it would taste like. It would just, I guess, like coffee and potatoes. Who the fuck out there went, yeah, that's going to be fucking awesome. Oh my God, I can't wait to eat coffee and potatoes. That's like when I talked about on here about like in the old days, every Dragnet, they're like, hey man, let's get a sandwich and some coffee. They order a ham sandwich and coffee. That's so grim. Oh my Christ, you might as well drink motor oil. Coffee's disgusting. But I'll tell you what, I make great coffee. So I've been told. So I'm driving the Xterra. And my elbow is, again, Lily can see it. She won't touch it, but it's like there's a fucking knot, like an egg on my elbow, totally where it would rest on the goddamn door. And so I'm trying to, and I kept trying to stop banging them and whiffing, but I couldn't. It just kept happening. So finally they contact me from the dealership. And they're like, dude, we totally fixed your battery. It's after 2 days. And I said, okay. And again, I didn't know what the fuck it was going to cost me. I had no clue. Because again, it wasn't doing that before I brought it in and I put the 800 in for the fucking tires and the brakes and all that, and the steam cleaning and the sludge and whatever the fuck. And again, I was just exasperated. I was crazy exasperated because I don't know how to handle it. I don't know what the fuck to do. So they tell me it's good and I got to come in the next day to get my car. So I happened to be working, and so there was no way I could go pick it up. But I said, I'll come in before you close, and I'll be in there. So I went, and I pulled up, and they washed my car, and it looks beautiful. Because, again, my car is a beautiful car when it's clean. My car is a beautiful car when it's just sitting there waiting to get picked up. I mean, it's just, I've taken photos of it, and I'm like, oh, look at her. She's gorgeous. Unfortunately, under the hood, she's, you know who it is? You know what my car is? My car is that hot chick from the fucking Shining. She's like totally hot, but then you open the hood and she's that fucking crone from the bathtub who comes out and she's all like old and naked. Oh my Christ. That's what my car is. It's got a fine outer shell. Dude, my car is like an M&M's made with garlic. That's what it is. It's like if you had like the thin candy shell around a raw garlic bud. That's what my car is. It's totally like garlic M&M's. Because it looks gorgeous. Its thin red candy shell looks beautiful. But then you pop the hood and you're like, raw garlic. And look, I like garlic very much. I like garlic on a pizza. Who doesn't like garlic on a pizza? I like garlic. You know what, we make stewed tomatoes at my work, and I never thought I would eat those because you know what I don't like? Tomatoes or stew. But you combine the two, sure enough, I'm fucking in. And that's a lie. I like stew and I like tomatoes. I like a stew look. I like a stewed look. Oh my God, I should do a stewed look. All right. So what would a stewed look be? It would be a stewed look holding and stewed tomatoes, right?
Just tomatoes.
Just holding tomatoes. Oh my God, so then it's stewed tomatoes. I'm a human rebus. Holy fuck, that'd be awesome. People are doing...
Stewed tomatoes.
They would just be stewed tomatoes. Yeah, okay. Well, how can we put a D on there? Just put a D. Stewed tomatoes, right? Now I'm a rebus. I don't want to be a full rebus. I just like being me with pictures and tomatoes. All right, so people are doing that on Facebook now. They keep putting pictures up and they're like, solve the thing or guess the thing. And I'm just going, you don't have a job. All right, so that's my guess. Every time somebody puts together 3 stock photos and guess what this is? It's you not having a job, right? You're home alone? Good. It's you not having any responsibilities or children to care for. Is that true? Possibly. Because if you had a baby, you'd change it. If you had a kid, you'd read to it. You certainly wouldn't be pictured a picture of Dumbledore out there for me to guess what the fuck it is. I don't people, and I apologize. Look, I'm sure you're lovely people and everybody making up the rebuses you're great. I love you. I'm a fan. So my car, I'm in the Xterra and they're like, come pick it up. So I pull in and there's my car right in the front. And I'm like, awesome. I can't wait to take it. And so I drop the Xterra off and I get my keys and I thank Melvin because, again, Melvin goes, all right, we'll go in and they've got your bill and stuff inside the thing. And I go, dude, how much was it? Like, what was wrong? He goes, I gotcha. I said, what? He goes, I gotcha. Don't worry about it. I said, dude, you don't have to do that. I'm not trying to squeaky wheel gets the grease thing here. And he's like, dude, no, don't worry about it. It's fine. I can't believe you're here so much. And I don't mind taking care of you. And he's really, because he's the head of service over there, and for him to step in, he's my guy. Again, everybody else who works there is a dumb fuck. I don't care about anybody else there at all, but he is the guy. He's the only reason I go back. Quite frankly, if he were to open up Melvin's auto shop, I would go there constantly and he would fix my car and I would be his only customer. So he took care of it. So I went in to get the invoice and it was $200. He basically changed out the battery, put a whole new battery, and did all this labor and this stuff, whatever the fuck. And no, it was $183, $183. And he had signed it. He actually initialed it and signed it and said waived by Melvin, which was great. So I thought it was awesome. I went and I took care of it. I signed everything I needed to sign. I grabbed the free bag of popcorn that they offer inside my dealership because that's the thing. I will tell you this: they have cookies and popcorn and like coffee, and so with as many times as I have to visit because of my car, I've actually thought, if I could get a cot here, it really wouldn't be that bad. I mean, I would just have cookies and popcorn and survive on that. I could avoid the coffee and just have some water. But I could put on like Corvette driving gloves and sleep. Because they have those. Dude, they have fucking driving gloves. That kills me. They have like a merch shop at my fucking dealership. It's like, really? Who the fuck comes in and goes, all right, you know what? I'm going to pay for my oil change and... you guys have any tinted visors I could wear when I'm driving, like Racer X? That'd be fantastic, because I would love to go ahead and find Speed Racer and challenge him to a mountain engagement. So I don't, so I go to get my car. I get my keys. I sign my invoice. I get it. And again, folks, I understand it's car talk. It's click and clack and Mike. I get it. I apologize, but this is what I'm dealing with. So I bring it to you. I put it to you, Greg. Isn't this an indictment of our education system and society? That's it. You're finished. You're through. No more Delta. I'm going to revoke your charter. That was my Dean Wormer. That's a movie you young people have no idea what it is. Good Lord. All right, so I go to leave. I get in my car. And it's been a few days of key in the door, key in the ignition. Whew, God damn it. Ah! So I'm just happy to get back into my car. Ooh, you know what that noise is?
It's you fucking up my recording.
But that noise right there, that's the beginning of Prison Sex by Tool.
Please stop. Please.
But that's from Prison Sex by Tool. It starts.
I'm hoping all of this recording works. You're fucking with the equipment.
How? I'm bending the mic stand.
You're moving the cords and the mic and shaking shit around and everything here. is ready to
God
go
damn it.
forward.
Ah! Like that? Is that bad? I'm sorry.
Nothing is recorded because I've got lines. It could just be static at this point.
Dude, you're totally the podcasting mom right now. You're so mad at me.
Podcasting mom.
Oh, man, I totally made podcasting mom mad. That's not good. Oh, yeah, I see. Oh, she put her glasses on. Oh, my God, and pointed. Good Lord, I'm in trouble. Am I grounded? Dude, if I'm grounded, you know what that means? I get to stay here. Yeah.
You're grounded. You have to go home.
No, this is where I'm grounded. I want to be grounded here. It's totally like a playland. All right, so what if I was grounded? I'm grounded to the oldest building in Hollywood, which means what? I'll die of fucking black lung. This place is awful. All right, so except for your part of it.
Live here.
Your
No
part of it,
worries.
your part of it is lovely. It's the rest of the people that I'm worried about. It's the hobos down on the second floor, sitting shirtless in the hallway, like I'm on the set of 12 Years a Slave. It's just like, fellas, honestly, put on a shirt. I know it's hot outside, but you're horrifying me with your rib cage. Goddamn human xylophone, throw on a fucking flannel. You are making me ill. And then I ran to Wendy's and threw up. I want to tell that. I should not tell that story, probably, about what happened at Wendy's. I shouldn't, because you know what? I'm willing to bet if I told the actual story, because I will tell you this, I threw up at Wendy's. There you go. That's the end of the story. But if I told the rest of the story, I really think this would have the pie eating contest from Stand By Me effect on listeners all over the world. And I don't think I'm ready for that kind of chain reaction. And I certainly don't want it blamed on me. So I'm going to not do that. But I'll tell you what, if you wanted to privately contact me and find out exactly what happened, I would tell you all about the fact that I think I may have stumbled into an abortion at Wendy's. All right, so let's put it this way. All right, because normally when I say, hey, I threw up at Wendy's, it's because I ate lunch and I'm like, I shouldn't have that in me. And sometimes I get a little handsy with myself and I go Karen Carpenter and I just fucking evacuate, right? Sometimes that happens. It's happened before in the past. I'm trying to stop doing it because I've been getting yelled at by people who love me and telling me that I shouldn't do that. And I get that. All right. But I will tell you that throwing up at Wendy's, while it may have been an idea I had, I can tell you, I didn't have a choice. I probably did not have a choice. All right, so there you go. That's all I'll tell you. Because when I went in there and thinking that I was like, well, maybe I'll do that, and then and something happened, and I looked and I saw something, and I went, you know what? I have no choice.
I don't want to hear anymore.
Look, I'm all right. I'm just going to tell you. I went into the bathroom at Wendy's, and there was Carrie Elwes. He was chained to the wall, and he had a hacksaw, and he was cutting off his own foot. All right, so. Yeah. And that's what happens when people ask you if you want to play a game.
Oh my god.
All right, so I that makes me laugh. So I go to get my car, and I go to leave the dealership, and I climb into my red candy shell on a raw garlic bud, and I climb into my Murano. And instead of keying the ignition, God damn it! Ah! See, I pulled it that time, so podcasting mom didn't yell at me. Instead, I get into my car and I sink basically to the floor. Like Cholos had somehow commandeered my vehicle, and lowered the inside as low as they could possibly go. I didn't have the tiny little steering wheel on the fucking weird bottle cap chain. I mean, I wanted to because I was in a lowrider. All of a sudden, I was in a lowrider, and I knew something was up. But here's why: I had been in the Xterra for so long, with so much room, that when I got into my car and I sunk in, I was just like, dude, well, this is what happens. I got Xterra ass, and I don't want to have that, but I did. My whole body was, it was like I would assume if you were in the, in the shallow end of a pool and all of a sudden you jumped into the deep end and then you went back to the shallow end right away. Like that's what it was. I was in the shallow end, which is my Murano, and then the deep end, which was the Xterra. And then I'm in the shallow end again. And it felt funky. It felt weird. I was getting a breeze. It was just strange. I felt a little lower than I should have. And the thing is, when I sat down, I immediately went, well, this feels weird. But I went, you know what? It's because of the Xterra. And I had to go anyway because I was on my way to do a podcast in Hollywood. That's right. I was the guest on a podcast in Hollywood. Let's talk about that, folks. I did a show with my friends Ben and now I'm going to screw this up, and I apologize because I think I was there with Ben and Marissa, but I think the actual host is Melissa. But she was off that week, so Marissa filled in because Ben said, I'm going to confuse the fuck out of Mike. That's going to be great. I will tell you about Ben. Ben is a guy. Well, first, let's tell you the show that I did. I was on a show called Pretty Little Podcasters. You can find it now in iTunes. You can go ahead and if you Googled Pretty Little Podcasters or put it into the iTunes store, you will be able to find it. Or I think they have prettylittlepodcasters.com. They may own that. We will do some research and find out. And by we, I mean Podcasting Mom. We'll hop right to it. But I will tell you, I did the show, and it actually went up last week, and I didn't get to tell you about it. So I did the show, and here's the premise of their show. All right, Ben asked me. He's like, "Hey, dude, would you do this show?" Now, let me clue you in on Ben a little bit. Ben works with the Comedy Film Nerds. He works behind the scenes with them a lot. And Ben is a fan of this show and a fan of mine. And he's always campaigned to the Comedy Film Nerds to have me on or to bring me to live events. He's always been kind of a champion for me in their camp. And I'm friends with Graham and Chris, and they're great. But it was always neat that Ben was a guy who was kind of like, Mike's really funny or Mike's this. And he would always kind of throw my name into the ring or put my hat in there. And I think actually he may have had a part in getting me the live tweeting Oscar thing, which I did with them a couple of years ago. Because Ben just thinks I'm funny. He's great. And I appreciate it. And so Ben is a guy, I'd only met him like once before. This is funny. Maybe it's not funny. I shouldn't tell you that it's funny. You'll be the judge of that. When I got the job as Travis Barbecue, I got a call to go deliver food somewhere in Hollywood. And when I went there to deliver it, the person had to come out and meet me outside because when I buzzed the apartment, I didn't get let in, whatever. And I had not talked about it on the show yet. Because when I first started doing it, remember, I got it through Lenny, and then I wasn't really talking about it because I didn't want to fuck it up, and I didn't want to turn it into a thing, and I didn't want to say where I worked or what I did. So and at the time, I was still fucking shell-shocked trying to recover. So I worked the first month or so in Hollywood without mentioning it on the show, and I delivered barbecue, and I recognized the name on the ticket from Facebook. And I'm like, I think I know this dude. And I was like, oh boy, this is going to be fucking weird. And Ben came out and looked at me. And I think he was stunned to fucking see me because, again, I hadn't talked about delivering any food or I hadn't talked about having a job. And, Ben, like a lot of you, labors under the impression that I'm kind of famous or in demand or people want to use me for stuff. And sometimes that's the case, but sometimes I got to bring people their fucking root beer. You know what I mean? So that's just, because again, I'm you guys. So Ben walked outside and he kind of did a double take. And I said, Ben, I go, I know you, don't I? And he goes, you do. And I go, I think we're Facebook friends. And he goes, I actually know you from Comedy Film Nerds. I mean, I think you're the funniest guest. And he was super nice. And then he tipped me $10, which was unheard of and ridiculous. And he certainly didn't have to do that. It was very cool, especially because his tab was only $4. So I think really he was just kind of show off at that point. But he was super cool. And that was like when I first started doing that. So then on Facebook, he's always very friendly and nice, and he's retweeted me, and he likes comments, and he comes in, and like I said, he champions me to those guys. Well, he contacted me, and he's like, look, our show it's called Pretty Little Podcasters. There's a television show called Pretty Little Liars, which I didn't know about. He's like, the way it works is you come on our podcast, you watch an episode of Pretty Little Liars, and then we talk about it. And I said, okay. I go, so when should I watch it? He goes, oh, no, no, no. You come over here and you watch it with us. I said, so I don't have to watch it at my house? Because Goebel's show is like that, but he gives you homework. You know, I'll have to watch some shows and be ready to discuss them with Paul on a show. I said, so, well, what should I do? How do I familiarize myself with the show? He goes, well, you don't have to. He goes, it's kind of neat if we get a fresh take from somebody who's never seen it or doesn't know anything about it. If you wanted to just come here and watch it and kind of dive into the crazy with us, and then we'll talk about it on the air. And it's part of our show. The hook is to get people even who've never seen it and to hear how they feel about it and what they thought and their impressions, because it's, you know, then it's almost like a Rashomon thing where you get all these different viewpoints of people who love the show or people who don't know anything about the show, and they come in naked and they see it and they deal with it on the air. And I was like, all right. I felt a little uneasy because, again, I barely know Ben, and I certainly don't know Melissa, and I've never met Marissa. I don't know any of none of the Isses. I'm not friends with any of the. I'm fans of the Isses. I'm not friends with the Isses or Daniel Issa. I certainly don't know him either. We're not met. But we went back and forth on some dates to try to get together on when to do it, and finally we found one that worked for us, and it happened to be their penultimate episode, which was because the season is almost over for Pretty Little Liars, so I was going to be there for the second to last episode. And I said, okay, I'll do it. Even though I'm weird about... Look, I'm weird anyway. What the fuck? I should have just stopped at I'm weird. Because just going in and checking it out and watching it and then talking on microphone with people I don't know. I mean, I can be funny and I can be me and do what I want to do, but I don't know. You know, I also don't want to be the guy who doesn't further the narrative. I don't want to go gets bogged down. Because again, well, let's put it this way. On my show, I'm thrilled to be the guy who doesn't further the narrative. I'm glad to have a narrative that goes into fucking figure eights and we'll just do an infinity loop for the goddamn show. But on somebody else's show, I need to be kind of wrangled. And, you know, because I can talk a lot and then I get off track. And the next thing you know, we're talking about fucking, you know, Taxi. And it's like, why are we talking about Taxi on Pretty Little Podcasters? It makes no sense. So I went to their house and Ben even wrote me and he's like, dude, let me ask you something. We feed the guys who come over. We feed our guests. So what do you want to eat? And I just went, Ben, it's super nice. You don't have to feed me. But I'll tell you this, as long as it's not barbecue, I'm fucking in. Because part of me I actually thought it would be funny if Ben just ordered barbecue from my job and I didn't, you know what I mean? And didn't tell me. And then I showed up and like, fantastic. Because that would have been kind of a funny thing to do. But he was nice enough instead to ask what I wanted. And I was like, I don't need any barbecue. So then he wrote me and he's like, we're going to go to Cafe Bossa Nova, which is like a Brazilian deal. I think you and I have eaten there, Lily. Don't you like the salmon there? That's your thing. So he's like, will Brazilian food work for you? And I'm like, yeah, absolutely. Get me a corinho and a maninho or whatever the fuck they are. Anything with an INHO, I'll eat it. Order me the Thiago Tavares. That's delicious. Or get me the Paulo Filho. All right. So these are fighters. So I'm on the air. Like people are going to listen to this eventually, right? I would hope so.
Yes, keep going.
But I'll just go up and spiral off into Brazilian fighter. I love, you know what? Order me the Rafael dos Anjos. That would be delicious, please. Please get me a giant plate of the Glover Teixeira. All right, so I'm just going to name all the Brazilian fighters. Yeah, why not? You know what? Do they have any Shogun Rua? I would love it. You know what? I checked that. Get me the Mauricio Rua. You know what? Get me the Ninja Rua. That's Shogun's brother. God damn it. You know what? Just get me a double plate of the Nogueira brothers. All right, so did you spit soda? You did. Because you know all about the Nogueira brothers. Oh, of course you do. Bring Lily a couple of brothers and serve them up. Well, you go Chevalier. You go Maurice LaMarche. You had a mustache. You actually pulled on your fake mustache. Podcasting mom had a fake mustache. So I said, Brazilian food is fine. That's going to work awesomely. So I get in my car. And as I said, I shrink to the floor, and I got to hustle. I got to get over to do Pretty Little Podcasters because we've already put the dates together, and I'm trying to get there on time. So I have to deal with traffic, and I get there, and there's nowhere to park, and then I park, and then I get into his house, and Ben is nice enough to come down and meet me. We walk up to his apartment, and it's me and him and Marissa / Melissa, and then we watch Pretty Little Liars. And as we're watching the show, they're filling me in on the pertinent facts. They're saying that, this is the most tweeted about show in the history of Twitter. And when you watch it, you realize why. Because no matter what happens, Remember do you know what a music sting is, folks? If you do, it was in the old days. There would be a show, and it would be something along the lines of like, it's when Caruso puts the fucking sunglasses on, and he goes, "Well, it looks to me like this sun just got burned." Yeah, and he puts the sunglasses on, and a thing happens. That's a music sting. A music sting in the old days would be like, "I was at your mailbox today. That letter never arrived. Dun dun dun!" That's a music sting. Okay. Well, on fucking Pretty Little Liars, there's no music sting really. When anything happens, a hashtag blurts onto the screen because they want you to text about it. That's or Twitter about it. That's the deal. It's like that's their version of a music sting. Like it's like these fucking what it is. It's like 4 mean girls who live in a vampire town. I don't even know. I watched it and I tried to absorb it, but right away I go, who's this chick and why is she so awful? And something happened, and it's like LV's decision or whatever, or Kate's revealing or whatever the fuck, and it would put it as a hashtag, and you're supposed to tweet about it. So I'm watching the show, and it's just. Again, it's 4 girls. They're high school girls ostensibly, but they all look 30. And I guess I said, how long has this show been on? And Ben's like 5 years. I go, nobody cares that they're not out of high school yet? What the fuck is going on? He's like, oh, dude. He goes, there are all these like weird space-time continuum rips, and like nobody knows what's happening. And some guy died in the second year, but then he wasn't really dead. And then this other, A came back. A was supposedly dead, but now A might be Allie, but it isn't Allie. And whoever is A controls like all the media in the town, so they control their TV. Like they can make fucking messages come through your television set. I mean, it was insane. I go, so this is all like supernatural bullshit, right? And he's like, well, no, it's not. We're trying to figure out if it is. They deal with it like it's real. But then it's really not real. We know that it's not because stuff happens and people who are dead are no longer dead. And I go, so this whole thing's going to be just a weird Mobius strip of crazy shit that happens. And at the end, it's going to be like Lost. They're all going to get together in a church and shake hands and then walk into the sun. And then there's Hurley. I mean, that's what it seemed like to me. Because again, it's all those weird shows. Because like I said, I guess this show takes place in Pennsylvania. So I said, oh, well, welcome back to Furtive Glance, Pennsylvania. Because all of them are like crossing their arms and looking at each other and like raising their eyebrows or squinting their eyes like, what? What did she say? Did you just say A? I did. Slip of the tongue. But A isn't Allie, but Allie's A. Oh my God. I'm watching it. And I guess I see the appeal for 18-year-old girls to watch it because they identify with the clothes. I mean, I don't know. I'm not an 18-year-old girl. Dude, that would be my nightmare, really, to have a conversation with an 18-year-old girl. I can't even imagine. And by the way, if you know an 18-year-old girl, you know what her nightmare is? The very thought of having a conversation with me. Jesus Christ. She's like, oh, a 47-year-old man I want to talk to about Pretty Little Liars? That's fantastic. Let's sit him down. Because I'm sure he fucking gets it. Because it's not for me. And again, I'm willing to recognize when media is not for me. But I will tell you this. The show, it fucking sucked me in. It was so... Because it was so stupid and bad, and the acting, and it's so funny. They got like a Pretty Jeselnik on the show. There's this dude who looks like Anthony Jeselnik, but someone melted him with a flame. Like, I mean, it was just like someone held a torch to Anthony Jeselnik and got him just a little, like, you know what? He looks like Anthony Jeselnik with Down syndrome. That's what this fucking dude looked like. And he's like the boyfriend of the fucking terrible stiff actress. And then Ben went and saw at the Paley Center. They did the TV thing for Pretty Little Liars. And he said they brought them all out, all the girls in the place went crazy. And then the 4th girl they brought out, of course, because they know she's the star. And he said the place went bananas for her. I'm like, dude, she's the worst actress on this show. And he goes, yeah, I don't know why, but she's the one who's connected with the audience. I go, you know why? Because the whole audience goes, I can do that. That's why. So we watched it, and then we went to record the show. So by the way, I walked into Ben's apartment. Cafe Bossa Nova got 86th. And there was a full spread of Italian food on the table. Yeah, no kidding. And in my head I was trying to think, well, wait, why and it's fine, because it was delicious. I'll tell you what, I can't eat. It was like a big bowl of beefaroni, like noodles, like these melty noodles. And then there was a fucking, like a garlic pizza. And it was really good. The food was delicious. I don't know where he got it from, but it was good. But I walked in expecting Brazilian. I got Italian. Now that works with food. But you pull that shit with a call girl, I'm turning around and walking out of that fucking hotel room. I'll tell you that right now. Who am I kidding? I put them all in my mouth. I'm not gonna lie. Dinner or call girls, everything goes right into my mouth. Or at the same time, perhaps. Who knows? I don't know how you run your show. Hear that, podcasters? You want to put out a spread? Go call girl. You'll probably get more guests. All right, so we're talking about Pretty Little Podcasters. I'm sitting there and discussing the show, and it's just, Because here's the thing, when I watched the show, I wanted to learn about it. I didn't want to just sit there and, as we said under the podcast, I didn't want to be the guy who shit all over the show, because there are people who listen to the show, the people who listen to Pretty Little Podcasters. It's not like a show that MST3Ks Pretty Little Liars. It's a show that actually loves Pretty Little Liars, and they talk about it, and they have some fucking dude who's never seen it before, and they get his weird take on it. Because Ben still likes comedy, even though he likes Pretty Little Podcasters, or I'm sorry, Pretty Little Liars. Although Pretty Little Liars was kind of funny, I won't lie, just because I kept laughing. I'm just like, what are they doing? Why is this person happening? There's this one girl who looks like Danica McKellar got put into a trash compactor. I mean, she just looks all squashed and weird. And then there's this girl who's like a bottle blonde with like black roots, and then there were fireflies, and there were souls being released out of a jar. Oh my fucking God, are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? And I even said to them, I go, dudes, it seemed like there was a lot going on in this show. And Ben goes, yeah, I got to be honest, because it's the second to last show of the season. They do that thing where they try to tie up a million things and then open up another million things, and they're all going to solve them in the final episode, and someone's going to die. And he goes, yeah, so you kind of ran into truly the most convoluted show. He goes, this ending infuriated me. He was like so angry at it. And I'll tell you this, when I'm sitting there at the table, I'm talking with Ben and Marissa/Melissa, and we're talking about Pretty Little whatever the fuck and these people, and I'm trying not to be mean because they have listeners all over the world. Again, like I said, I wanted to learn about the show. I wanted to know about the show. I wanted to find out as much as I possibly could about the show because I wanted to talk about it intelligently. I didn't want to just be some guy who's like, yeah, it was stupid and those girls were dumb. You know what I mean? I just wanted to be a guy who was like, well, I get this, and I think I know what they were going for here, and I think it could have been something different. And you know what's funny? Dude, like this weird shit happened. Like Chad Lowe is in there, all right? So he's Rob Lowe's brother. And he's I'll tell you what, they're morphing into one dude. Like as Chad Lowe gets older and Rob Lowe gets older, Chad's catching Rob in the looks department. Like he sort of looks like Rob. Although Rob Lowe, you can't. I mean, Rob Lowe's just fucking. I mean, there's a painting of him somewhere that just. I mean, because Rob Lowe's gorgeous. He's like crazy good looking. Rob Lowe had a sex tape, by the way. You guys remember that? Remember when that wasn't? Yeah, when that wasn't quaint. Well, wasn't it like a mother-daughter team? Who the fuck did he bang? Yeah, like it was Rob Lowe with like a mother-daughter team at the Democratic Convention in 1988 or something like that. And it was a sex tape, and it was a big deal for like a minute. Everybody talked about it, and then kind of went away. And again, like I said, that was before sex tapes were quaint. You know what I mean? Where everybody's like, oh, yeah, I kind of have one. That happened. It's funny when I show pictures of on my phone where because I have like, I'll take nice pictures of me and Jill at the beach, and I'll hand people the phone and I'll go, dude, you cannot just look at that picture and give me back my phone. Like I'm holding my phone and they go to take it. I'm like, no, that's good. I'll hold the phone because I don't want to risk somebody at my work seeing something that they should not. So I'm talking on the Pretty Little Podcasters show, and we're discussing, and I should tell you this, Ben has watched the episode previous to my arrival because Ben likes to have his talking points ready, and he has copious notes that he has taken on, and I noticed this when I was sitting there, and I busted his balls on the air as well. As he's reading his notes, I look and I notice that Ben takes his notes with a Pretty Little Podcaster's pen. It actually has their logo on it, and he's taking those notes into a Pretty Little Podcaster's notepad that has their logo on it. And I mentioned it on his show. I go, before we go, I got to talk about this. This is how much Ben loves Pretty Little Liars. Like, he actually has the podcast he's made it into pens and fucking stationery, for fuck's sake. And he's like, well, come on, they had a sale over at, I forget the name of the place where I used to get my free business cards, Vistaprint. He goes, they had a sale at Vistaprint. And I'm just like, yeah, you're not going to excuse this, man. You got a pad of paper with your logo on it. I don't know, you're not fucking the IBM. IBM? I think I said IBM. You know what? Actually, Ben might be IBM. Yeah, you know what? He might be IBM. So, which, by the way, that is a. Oh, never mind. I can't even lower myself to make that joke. Good. Because then we're right back in the Wendy's bathroom. Oh, it was terrible. It was a crime scene. It was grim. I'm glad you don't want to hear it. Who does want to hear it? The local police, the local federales, the police and thieves in the streets. Oh yeah. So we talked on the show, and I mentioned their pad of paper, and I talked about Pretty Little Podcasters going to get listeners all over the world, and we were discussing and talking about the show and why there was supernatural stuff, and if it was really supernatural, whatever. It was really cool of them to have me on. I didn't expect it. And I talked about, I was joking about getting a swag bag, too. I was like, you got this food you gave out to people, and you got a swag bag. So we finish the show, we wrap it up, and by the way, if you think I talk a lot on here, because I always say I talk till I'm done. Well, I talked till I was done on their show as well, because when we finished, Melissa/Marissa looked at her phone and she goes, all right, well, my boyfriend's been outside in the car for 40 minutes, so I'm going to take off. And I felt awful for making her stay there for that long because I wanted to cover every single inch of the goddamn show. And I stood up and I said, well, I'll walk you out. We'll go ahead and take off. And I thanked Ben again, and profusely, because, again, I'm happy to be involved in anybody else's projects. It's nice that they think of me. I appreciate it. And if they think that I can bring anything to it, that's super cool. So Ben goes, well, hold on a second here. And he grabs a bag, and he goes, here, for you. And I thought he wanted me to take the trash out of his apartment and drop it in the dumpster on the way out. I didn't know if it was a tradition or something. But it wasn't a garbage bag. It was like a... It was a burlap, right? Canvas type bag, cloth. And I said, well, what's this? He goes, it's for you. It's a gift bag for doing the show. And I said, I don't, what? Because it made no sense to me, like none. Because again, they catered in. They brought food in for everybody, for all of us, and then they give me a swag bag. I mean, literally, I've been doing this show for 7 years, literally sitting here in a towel, for fuck's sake. I mean, I don't...
It's not a towel.
And you know what? No, I disagree, because if I was wet, I could dry myself with that. So she's in a towel. Like, none of us care. You know, she's got her shoes off. You know, I'm in a stripper's kitchen talking. But these guys have a swag bag and fucking food. And honestly, if he would have taken a garbage bag and taken his arm and swept all of the leftovers off the coffee table into the garbage bag and said, here you go, that would have been a nice gift, a nice parting gift for doing the show. That would have been even more thoughtful than I've ever been. But he gave me a bag, like a swag bag. And I was like, you don't have to do this. He goes, no, man, we're really excited to have you on. He goes, I've been trying to get you for a long time, and I'm really happy that you could do it. And so I wanted to make sure to get you something. And I think I gave him a hug. You know, I hugged Marissa. Now her boyfriend's been in the car for 42 minutes, you know, just waiting. So I take the bag and I walk into the hallway, and I thank him profusely. And I look at the bag. Well, first I go outside and I walk her to her car. And I go to get into my car, but first I stop, because it's still light outside. So I grab my bag and I look, and there was, you know, I thought it was just like some Trader Joe's grocery bag, but I look and there's a logo on the side of the bag. It's a beige bag, and the logo, it looks like a rainbow, but in the foreground it says K-Billy Super Sounds of the 70s. And it's got a brown, a yellow, a pink, an orange, a blue, and a white stripe behind it. And it says K-Billy Super Sounds of the 70s in a 70s font. It looks like almost like a K-Tel album. And underneath it says, approved by Misters Blonde, Blue, Brown, Pink, White, Orange. And, or I may have said endorsed or approved. So it's a Reservoir Dogs bag with there's no Reservoir Dogs logo, the No Band Apart logo, but it's obviously right from the movie. So then I realized, it dawns on me, I'm like, this isn't the bag everybody gets. Ben went out and got a bag that was catered to me. So I opened the bag, and the first thing that dominated the bag, I pulled it out. He got me the 12-inch posable Mr. Blonde action figure, which is amazing. You know, because they put out the action figures. I had the small one and the big one, but it's a 12-inch, like a G.I. Joe of Mr. Blonde. He gave me that. It's in the bag. There's a roll of Chicago Bears duct tape, which actually has all the Bears logos on it. He got me, it had a signed photo from Jake the Snake Roberts, the professional wrestler, because he knows obviously that I'm into wrestling. But it was actually an autographed photo. It wasn't some mimeograph. It was an autographed photo from Jake the Snake Roberts. And the last thing I pull out, it's like a sound machine. You ever see those sound machines? You can press them and they make noises or whatever. Well, this is a pocket Reservoir Dogs. And it's got 6 buttons, and when you press the buttons, it says dialogue from the movies, but it's in the actual voice of the actors. So I press the first one, and it's Keitel, and he goes, if you even shoot me in a dream, you better wake up and apologize. And in my head, I go, well, there's one that has to be on here. There's absolutely... And then I press the buttons, and then the third one I pressed, it just goes, are you going to bark all day, little doggy? Or are you going to bite? And it's Madsen's voice. And I stood there, you know, and look, I'm kind of a sap. But I was kind of affected by it because, like I said, you know, the very fact that I'm being asked to do their show is an honor in itself. You know, I mean, because it's not really a show I should be doing. I don't know anything about Pretty Little Liars. Seriously, I don't know what I bring to their audience. I'm sure it's an audience that's not going to welcome me or know who I am or listen, but they allowed me to go ahead and expose myself and what I do to their audience. So maybe if I even get one listener out of it, if someone, because I know I did get followed on Twitter by some people who were fans of the show, and if they go ahead and give this show a listen, that's amazing. I mean, it just brings me and what I do to an entirely new audience. And so being asked to do the show itself is great, but then for them to think of me, to feed me and get me food and ask what food I wanted and even care, and then to give me a bag that was so catered to me, it was specifically for me. Oh, and he also threw in a Pretty Little Podcaster's notepad and a Pretty Little Podcaster's pen, which he did not have to do. He didn't have to do any of that. It was ridiculous. I mean, it was asking me to do the show was enough, but then go ahead and reward me in such a way. And then they commissioned Mex to do a logo for the show that week. So Mex took their logo and he incorporated Little Schmitty into it, and they asked, they paid. They did. I mean, insane that they would do that they would go to those lengths, that they really wanted us to be involved. And I mean, it was just really, I think I've told you guys, the greatest honor in the world is to be paid to be yourself. And while they didn't hand me, well, they did actually. They gave me cash after the fact, because they wanted the logo. But even more important than that, they cared. They used me and they let me, they trusted enough that their audience would care to listen to me. And they have, because look, I value you guys. You're my audience. And I wouldn't try to fucking hoodwink you with any nonsense. You know what I mean? If I came in here and I brought in a guest, I'd tell you I have a guest. I mean, who knows? Again, the show is the show, and you guys choose to follow along, and I appreciate it. But, they have an audience that they are loyal to, and they kind of answer to. And so to go ahead and bring me in, that was an honor enough to go ahead and expose me to who their audience is and try to get me new listeners. That was great. I mean, I really appreciated it. But then for them to go the extra mile and go ahead and get me stuff, it just made no sense. I mean, it did make sense. It was great. It was really cool of them, and I appreciated it. So go ahead and find it in iTunes. It's called Pretty Little Podcasters. I think my episode is probably still up, and I would imagine that the last episode of the season is up. But I don't know if they've recorded it yet because and I don't even know if they have a guest on that one. Because it's going to be so chock full of stuff, and they want to be Pretty Little Liars heavy. They want to make sure they get all of it taken care of. So they want to go ahead and whatever. Who fucking cares? Go listen to it, because it was really nice to go ahead and chat with them and talk about the show and just know the thought that went into it. It's not just people sitting around talking, and because that's what podcasting should be. There's podcasts that have broken through, like Never Not Funny and Marin and Oh Yeah Dude and Rogan and these bigger shows. And then there's niche shows, niche like Pretty Little Podcasters, because that's tailor-made for the audience of a show that is on TV, and then they follow along with this plot breakdown, and they listen to them, and they have guests. People look forward to it because it's a communal experience. It's just them and the Pretty Little Podcasters talking about Pretty Little Liars. And then you got my show, which is not pretty or little, but it does have a podcaster, I can tell you that. And it's got a podcasting mom who's here with us right now. So I'm just happy to have you guys on board. I was happy to do their show, and go check out their show. It was really neat for them to ask me, and I'm glad that I was involved. And I was really kind of touched that they handed me that bag with the stuff that was tailor-made for me. It just they cared, man. And it always makes a difference when somebody cares. Because I mean, I have done shows where they, at the end of it, they're just like, all right, there's the door, and then they all started talking among themselves, and you go, all right, thanks, and you just walk out because, it's the machine. You get dumped in, they churn you for content, and then you get dumped out. But sometimes people go the extra mile to make you feel like you were supposed to do that. And that's what they did. They made me feel like I was supposed to be there, so that was pretty cool. Even if I didn't get the show, and I may have made fun of it a little more than I should have. But I don't know if I did. I mean, I don't know if it's possible to make fun of that show any more than you should, because it is ridiculous. You should watch it. It's fucking dumb. But again, it's for 18-year-old girls, and good for them. So I look at the swag bag. I'm out in the sun. And so now it's time to head home. It's Friday. And I actually, it's funny because I was off. So in my head, I'm like, you know what? It's Friday and it's only like 8 o'clock. Maybe I could go to a movie or something. And then I went, no, who are you kidding? What are you, a guy with friends? Doubtful. So I decided, I was like, well, I'll just go home. I'm sure there's plenty of Kojak reruns to sit in your house and watch as you stare into space. So I opened the car door and I had my swag bag and I wanted to put it in the passenger seat next to me. I didn't want to put it in the back because I didn't want it to think that it was a second-class citizen. But then part of me thought, you know what, you should put it in the back because then it'll think it's being chauffeured around. It'll think it's super special. And I went, nah, I don't want it to think it's that super special because then it won't let me play with it when I get home. So instead, I'll put it in the passenger seat and it'll look like we're equals. Compadres. And actually, the bag should just be thrilled that I didn't have to throw it in the Xterra because who knows, I would have lost it in the void. So I opened my door, the driver's side door, as I was parked on the street, and I leaned into my car. And I went to put my bag on the passenger seat, and when I leaned, I put my hand on the driver's seat. And as I put my hand on the driver's seat came off in my hand. I leaned in on the driver's seat, and it popped right up off the floor, off the track, and fell. Essentially, you could wobble it side to side. It was not stationary anymore. They had broken my chair when I brought it in to be fixed for the battery. Remember, I thought I was lower to the ground? I was, because they had delicately placed it on the ground off of the electronic track. So I wouldn't know that there was something wrong with it until I shifted my weight one way and it just all like almost came out of the car, my driver's side seat. I'm right by Beverly Boulevard in Hollywood. And now it's like I said, it's like 8 o'clock. So they're closed. The service is closed. And I'm staring into space because I didn't know. And so then I leaned forward. I grabbed the chair, okay, the driver's side seat, and I just started to wobble it back and forth. And it was like it was a loose tooth. You ever have a loose tooth you can't stop fucking with and you're going back and it's super loose and it's rocking back and forth in your mouth? That's what the chair was like. That's what the seat was like in my car. It wasn't even on the track. And so I climbed it and I sat down and I closed the door and I wondered if it was me. Like, I'm like, is there something I'm doing wrong here? Like, what's so stupid? I'm like, is it just fake loose? Maybe it's not. Maybe I have to sit on it to stabilize it. Even though that's bullshit, it's just fucking chairs are stabilized. You don't have to sit on it to keep it down. But sure enough, man, I climb in and, I reach down to use the electric because I have, fully electric seats. So they go back at the back and then they slide back as well. So when I started doing it, it started to hum, but it wouldn't go because obviously it's not on the track really. And then it started to kind of sputter and go, but it was crushed up against the seat because my weight was leaning it into the seat and it wouldn't move. It wouldn't budge. And I'm just sitting there because I didn't even get mad because I couldn't believe what was happening. Again, I had dropped the car off and paid $800, and then 2 days later it died. I had to jump it, drop the car off, smashed my head into a glass fucking window, had the Xterra bang the fuck out of my elbows, and then just had to deal with, starting the car. Whew, God damn it. Ow! For 2 days, 3 days, and then the seat's broken. And again, they've stolen all the change out of my center console. They stole my sunglasses out of this car. And I know because people always write me and they're like, why the fuck do you keep going back there? And it's like, you're right. You're totally right. But the other reason I keep going back there is because Melvin's a white knight who always fucking takes care of whatever. And yeah, they fuck something else up and I got to go back. But he always tries to make it right. What he should do is fire every motherfucker in the building. Because who the fuck is doing that? What are you? I was stunned. So I'm in Hollywood, and it's almost 9 o'clock, and I didn't know. Again, they're closed. I just got to go home. But I wasn't going to take a chance on trying to call because I had to work a double. The next 3 days, I worked doubles. So I just went. You know what? I'm texting Melvin. I know it's after hours because like I told you, I have his home number, his cell number, and I'm going to read you. The text. And here's what's funny. It's, I should, all right, I'll get to it in a second. But here's what I wrote. This is at 8:57 p.m. Melvin, you know how much I hate bothering you. I'm so sorry to do this. Melvin, they broke my driver's side seat. It's practically on the floor and it rocks side to side. When I slide it back, it pinches hard against the door. I don't know who did it. I'm not sure how it happened, but it happened. I'm not a liar. I'm not a car hypochondriac. I'm embarrassed that I have to send this and exasperated at the same time. I want to come in the morning. I work a double, but you have to see this. I have to show you this. I'm not crazy. I swear. Again, I apologize. And I sent it, and I'm so fucking tired of apologizing to people for fucking stuff that they've done. And yet, it's the only way stuff gets done. It's the only way I can, because again, I'm such a fucking lout that it's either banging my head into a glass door or apologizing profusely. You know what I mean? It's just, and again, it's me. It's who I am as a guy. I go to extremes. I either burn it the fuck down or I worship it. I mean, I'm just trying to figure out that part of me. And again, it's not. I wasn't apologizing to Melvin for the fact that they broke my fucking door. I was apologizing that I'm bothering him at 9 o'clock at night for the third time this fucking week. But in reality, they should be coming to me and groveling and apologizing and taking my business. I bought 4 fucking cars from these people, and I just keep going back and getting fucking boned. I mean, it's brutal. And I don't know what the fuck to do. I can't start over and go somewhere else, because then I don't trust those motherfuckers at all. At least there I've got Melvin planting a flag for me. He's got a fucking cadre of jagoffs who are fucking stealing shit out of my car and breaking seats because someone clearly broke the seat and then put it back so they didn't think I would notice it. That's the only explanation. It made no fucking sense. So I drove home, and every time I turned, it was like a roller coaster because the seat would rock and my weight would shift all the way to the right or all the way to the fucking left. And I got home and I was miserable because I just wanted to drive my car through a fucking wall. I didn't know what to do. And look, you've all been there. We've all been there. So in the morning I got up. I was supposed to go to the gym and I had to cancel it. And I rode into the dealership, and it was Saturday morning, so it was super busy. And I pulled up and I get out of the car, and Melvin comes walking out, and he has his hands extended like in a shrug, and he's just like, "What is going on?" I said, "I don't know. You should supervise these motherfuckers, because look at this, dude. I am not crazy." And he comes over, and he reaches in, and he feels the chair, and he goes, "Oh, my God." I go, "Yeah." And he goes, "Well, this is a thing that happens with Muranos. Like, it's a thing that they've had happen before." And I said, "Okay." He said, "So what I need you to do is write Nissan." And I went, "You're fucking joking." And he goes, "What?" And I go, I have to write Nissan to do, I go, "Melvin, look, you guys did this. I mean, I didn't do it. It happened on your dime, and this seems," he goes, "Well, look, no, we'll take care of it." He goes, "But if you talk to Nissan and tell them because this happens, and even if you go online and you Google it, your year of car, and you look under the dealer, the message boards and things, you'll see that this is something that happens a lot." He goes, "You can talk to them, and they'll approve it, and they'll call us, and we'll just take care of it. It's just easier. It's an easier step rather than me having to go through the guys here and then go and appeal to them." And I'm like, "All right, I guess so. If you think me contacting a major car maker will do anything for my seat, I suppose I'll do it." And he laughed because I was exasperated, but I was joking, but not really. Because I didn't understand why the fuck now all of a sudden I am the goddamn chair police and I've got to write Nissan. Who the fuck am I? Fuck your Aaron Brockovich nonsense. Fix my fucking car. I'm not Ralph fucking Nader. Fix the goddamn seat. Find the fat mechanic and find out who broke my fucking chair. So he's like, "Well, we'll take care of it." He goes, "All right." I go, "Dude, I need a loaner." I go, I have to work." And he says, "All right, he goes, "We'll take care of it. It's fine." And he goes, I go, "Look, I have to do this. I'm really sorry." I said, "How long is this going to take?" He goes, "It's probably a week to 10 days. And I went, "Fuck." He goes, "I know." He goes, it could be a week to 10 days. I just want to make sure you know that." I go, "Fine." I go, "But then the loaner I go, "Dude, I have to have a Murano." He goes, "I will look." And I go, "And can I ask this as a favor? Can it have satellite radio, and can it have GPS?" Because mine has satellite radio and GPS, and if I have to go a week to 10 days without that, it's going to drive me fucking crazy. To give me an inferior vehicle is just, I don't think it's fair when you guys... He goes, "Look, I understand." He goes, "I will find it. I will take care of it." I go, "All right." I go, "I hope I'm not being like..." Because I didn't want to be like fucking rude or ask for too much, but it was like, motherfucker, can I ask for one thing? So I went back to talk to Dave, the rental guy, and he knows me from you remember me from smashing my head into a plate glass window a couple of days ago. I'm like, hey, and he goes, hey, sir, how are you? And I'm like, I'm okay. He goes, all right, we're gonna find your car, I promise. I go, great, and I just stood there, and then Melvin comes walking back, and he comes up to me and he goes, GPS, satellite radio. He goes, it's black, is that okay? I go, fuck you. And he laughed. And Dave then checks me out, and he goes, okay, it's around the corner. And I walk up and I look at it, and it's a 2014 Murano with satellite radio and GPS, and it's gorgeous. I mean, it's a beautiful car. And he looks at me and he goes, all right, he goes, you know that this is Melvin's car? And I said, yeah, Melvin got it for me. He told me he was going to go and find it for me. And he goes, no, this is Melvin's personal car. I said, what do you mean? He goes, did you see the bag he was carrying? He goes, he had to get all of his stuff out of the car. He goes, he's giving you his car.
Wow.
And, part of me was like, well, that's awesome. I mean, it's really nice of him to step up and do something like that. That's really cool. And then part of me is like, you are fucking insane. Why are you giving me your fucking car? It's pretty obvious at this point that I'm the black cat of Nissan cars. Why the fuck are you handing me the keys? It's got the push button fucking ignition. It's got, it's tricked out. It is fucking beautiful. It's essentially, you know what it is? It's my car's dad. That's what it is. The GPS is better. There's a touch screen in it. There's fucking satellite radio with a different thing. And I'll tell you what, Melvin left his presets on there. So like now it's like driving a porcelain figure. Like I don't want to do anything with his fucking car because I don't want anything bad to happen to it. So like his presets, he's got the fucking Jimmy Buffett station on preset. And I want to erase it so badly, but I'm like, I can't fuck his presets up. But he's got like, and the jam bands like Fish. Dude, fucking Melvin listens to Fish. What the fuck is that? Awful. So I'm flipping through, and so then I basically have to use the manual dial to find my stations, which is fine. But it's so funny. Like I'm like, oh, dude, you totally listen to Fish, and then I scroll over and I listen to Gangbusters on the fucking old time radio, and I'm like, dude, I should make that his preset just so he hears it. And he goes, what the fuck is Mike listening to? So I get in the car and it's gorgeous, and I'll tell you what, it's a fucking spaceship because the engine is improved. It's a gorgeous, like I said, it's my car's dad. And then he's like, all right, he goes, I will text you the information where you can write Nissan. And I'm like, all right, I guess that's fine. I have no fucking idea. So I take his car to work. And then I have to deliver food, and I'm running around like an idiot. And I delivered it for, a couple of days with it. And I texted him after 3 days because he got it to me on a Saturday, and then, they were off Sunday. So I waited. I texted him like Tuesday. I said, Melvin's still waiting on the information of Nissan so I can write the people who are going to fix my car. And I need to know what's happening here because, I don't mind because, again, I don't give a fuck. I'm driving a 2014 Murano, but at the same time, I'd like to know what's happening. And he didn't answer my text. So I'm driving his car at work, in life. And, and it's so funny. Every time I come to work, the guys I work with are just like, did you paint your car? No, it's a loaner. Did you get a new car? No, it's a loaner. What happened to your car? You should get rid of your car. Yes, I should get rid of my car. There's no doubt I should get rid of my car. And then a few more days go by, and in my head, I'm like, maybe they forgot about me at the dealership, and I could totally keep Melvin's car. That'd be fucking amazing. Because, again, it's like my car's dad. It's totally cool. It looks like, it's like my car. You know what? It's like the thin candy shell came off the M&M, and the garlic bud sprouted like a butterfly. And I hopped on it and I rode it all over town. It was so fantastic. That's right. I'm riding a garlic butterfly. Which, by the way, is one of the bands on the jam band station that Melvin listens to. The Garlic Butterfly. Oh, they're great. Pungent but great. Beautiful but pungent but great. So I'm riding around town. I'm waiting to hear from Melvin. And it's, so I worked Saturday. I had to work a double. And I'm driving. And it's so funny, because I'm super careful. Because, again, it's not my car, it's his car. But then I find myself driving like I would normally drive. Because, I'm a good driver. I can hear people shrugging all over America. But I promise I'm a good driver. So there's this, I had to deliver food at this place on Ocean Boulevard. It was like fucking 8:30 at night. I was working a double, and I pulled in. And I have to go down into the lower level where their parking is. And so I pull in, and the valets stop me. They go, no, you cannot park in here. And I'm like, well, I'm delivering food. He goes, yes, you cannot park. You must park in the alley around the corner. They have a spot for you now. I said, well, no, we usually park down here. We just pull to the side. He goes, yes, but the owners of the building do not want you in the elevator anymore. You must go ahead and pull up and park in the spot in the back alley. And I'm like, son of a bitch. I go, all right, well, where am I going? He goes, you must back up and go out. And again, if you ever have to back up out of a fucking parking garage underneath, in the basement, it's like, motherfucker. So I backed up a little, and then I pulled forward. You got to do that almost like a 3-point. How you park when you had that 3-point parallel parking or whatever, or a 3-point turn. So I went to do like a 3-point turn, and then I was going forward, and then I put the car, and I go to put it in reverse, and I've got my foot on the brake. And I mentioned that it's like my car's dad and everything is totally new, right? Well, I should tell you that when everything's totally new, the gas pedal and the brake pedal aren't as tacky as they should be because they don't have a lot of shoe leather being used on them because, they're around. And also my Nike shoes are a little slippery. So my shoe slips off the brake and hits the gas. And all I hear is... and I hit the brake. And I see, let's put it this way, the valet guys jumped. That's how scary this fucking noise was. And I'm just sitting there, and I know. And so I put it in reverse, and the car won't move, which means it's wedged into the pole that I hit with Melvin's garlic butterfly. And then I realized that I have it in neutral. So when I put it in reverse, it backed up. I had not wedged myself onto the pole. But I backed up, and the valet guys are like, oh, are you all right? And I'm like, yeah, I think I'm okay. And I get out, and I look at the car, and I go, I don't even want to look. I'm going to get out of here first. So I backed up, pulled out, went in the back to the spot. And again, I still didn't look. I went and I delivered the food, and I came downstairs, and I looked, and I didn't break anything. There's not a dent. There's not a scratch. Nothing's cracked because, again, the bumper's plastic. But the car is black. Doors, everything. The whole body's black. The bumper's black. But now, just to the right of the license plate, there's about a 4-inch wide strip of white paint from bottom to top that I scraped off the pole. And I took my fingers and I started to chip it off, and it came off really easily. It came off fine, and there was nothing wrong with the bumper underneath. It's just there's a lot of paint. And I'm just laughing because of course, that happened. As much as I wanted to be George and tell you about the rabbits, I was Lenny. And I had torn the wings right off of Melvin's garlic butterfly. And that is the reason I threw up at Wendy's. You guys can get me at Mike at MikeSchmidtComedy.com. You can be my friend at Facebook.com/the40-year-old-boy. You can follow me at Twitter.com/the40-year-old-boy. David Hernandez is our art and music dude, the guy who does all of that cool stuff for our show. You can find him at Facebook.com/DavidMexHernandez. And you can also be visiting him at artbydmh.com. If you'd like him to do some artwork for you, commission him to do some sort of stuff, some sort of logos, any paintings, anything at all. He's an amazing artist, a talented Renaissance man who can do almost anything I ask. You can get him at artbydmh.com, artbydmh.com, and hire him to do all of your cool stuff. My friend Lily Von Stupp is the producer of this show. You can find her at facebook.com/Lily Von Stupp and be her friend. You can Twitter her. You can follow her on Twitter at twitter.com, several different accounts. Twitter.com/Lily Von Stupp, Twitter.com/MNTs, and Twitter.com/HollywoodBQFest. But if you'd like to write her a personal note and ask her, hey, Lily, are you going to continue producing in this town? You can get her at Lily at burlesque411.com. That's Lily, Lili, at burlesque411.com.
You're listening to The 40-Year-Old Boy, and later, The Jerk-Off Journals, recorded in a studio that always smells like bleach.
Well worth the money. Best investment I've ever made. The Fleshlight is just awesome.
Really?
Yeah, you got to get one, man. You gotta get one.
I just can't see dropping $100 or whatever the fuck it is just to jerk off. I'll just make my own.
How are you gonna make your own?
I'll just take a flashlight, smash out the glass, and line it with ham. They make a gold mine talking about Shaft. The Jerk Off Journals on the Mike Schmidt Podcasting Network.
Dude, why do we always fuck food?
Want to remind you folks about the Monday Night Teas every Monday night at the 3 Clubs on Vine at Santa Monica, right in the heart of Hollywood, ladies and gentlemen. Waiting and ready for you to come and spend your money and watch some ladies take their clothes off. I happen to know the producer of that show. She's a good friend of mine and a good friend of yours, I hope. Ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together for the foul-mouthed, buxom godmother of burlesque. The producer of the longest-running burlesque show in the history of Los Angeles, nay, Southern California, nay, California, nay, the West Coast,
You're not going to take it all the way to world?
nay, the planet Earth, nay, the universe. That's my good friend Lily Von Stupp. Hi, Lily, how are you?
I'm tired.
Yes, you are. You're so tired, from what I hear. That's what the movies tell me. Things are good for you, our friend Lily. You're all right. You're feeling. Your towel is adjusted and it looks nice, by the way. Certainly. Let's talk a little bit about the Monday Night Teas. Let's talk about the Monday Night Teas that I hosted, because I did not get to cover that show. Lily did a show as a special tribute show to Lily Von Stupp, because it was her 10th year anniversary in producing in this town and performing both. And so I was asked to host the show, a sold-out show, a standing room only affair. And I showed up, and there were balloons, and there were ladies with balloons, and they were coming and going and going and coming, and always too soon. And then you were there, flitting back and forth between business Lily and performer Lily, and your family was in attendance. Let's talk about it. How did you feel about that night? It was. You seemed kind of silent, but I thought it was very wonderful, quite frankly.
Yeah.
Oh, you're a little choked up. Oh, I apologize. I'm not trying to be that guy. But your sisters were in town, and then there were brothers, and there were all sorts of people and dates, and then they all sat over in the corner, kind of by me, and I got to meet them before I split. Did they enjoy the show? They had a good time, right?
They had a wonderful time.
All right, and it was a great show because there was a Nikita Bitch Project was involved, and a Sheila Starciani was involved. Scott Neary was there doing pickup dressed as you. Yeah, it was quite a menagerie. It was quite a huge group of people. It was a lot of fun.
There was a lot of pictures of Lily.
There were pictures of Lily. Look at that closing number. It was nicely done. And then, I was the host person, and when Lily came to me, she's like, hey, do me a favor. She goes, I want to do this 10-year anniversary of me as a performer and a producer, and I can really only think of one person that I would want to host it, and that would be you. And I was honored to be asked. So that was nice of her. And she said, and here's what I want you to do. I want you to just roast me. I said, what do you mean? She goes, well, I don't like roasty, like be mean, like write mean jokes about me. And I'm like, why? Why do you want that? I go, because then your entire audience is going to be like, oh, this guy's a jagoff. He showed up on a celebration night and he was mean to our friend Lily. She goes, no, you can pull it off and I know it's going to work and it's going to be great. And so I didn't know for sure if that would work, but I knew I was going to do it because fuck that. Why wouldn't I do that? So I wrote a bunch of roast jokes about our friend Lily, and I didn't want to, like I said, I couldn't do a whole 15-minute destruction of her, and because we're trying to get to the actual show, people want to see ladies dancing and taking their clothes off. Nobody's there to hear me talk. But in the allotted time that I had to talk, I wanted to make sure that I made an impression. So I think I did.
Oh, it was hysterical.
Well, good. That's good news.
Oh, my God. I have two favorites.
You have two favorites.
I do.
Are we going to mention them here on the air? Should we do that?
You want to do them?
I'm sure. Tell me which ones they are. All right. I said Lily's known for two things, and it's not really performing and producing. Lily's known for two things. She's known for two huge things. Lily has huge tits. We can't lie. I said they're so big that when I first moved to town, I didn't have an apartment. Lily let me string a hammock between her nipples and sleep there for 3 weeks. So I said Lily's tits are so huge that in the morning of September 11, 2001, I woke up and someone said, oh, my God, someone flew planes into the Twin Towers. And I instinctively went, Jesus, I hope Lily's okay. So that's one of them. A set. I had to do the setup with the hammock first, but she likes the September 11th one. And oh boy, I don't even remember that one. I'm not sure if I remember that one.
There's 4 words you need to know to describe She fucks a clown.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah, there's 4 words you need to know to describe Lily. She fucks a clown. And I said, in fact, she and Lily have had so. I shouldn't say that. She and Eddie she's had so much sex with Eddie that when you push her clit, it honks. And I said, and if you think her tits are huge, then the first night she was with Eddie, she spread her legs and 18 clowns walked out. Threw Eddie the keys and said, lock it up when you're done.
Oh my god!
Because, there's a car in there. Lock the car up when you're done. Ha. So it was that kind of night.
Oh fuck, it was funny.
And I said, Lily gives, she likes rough sex. She gives as good as she gets. In fact, with Lily, Tears of a Clown is not just a song, it's her favorite lube. And there was more, but you would have had to be there to see
There were
it.
a few people shocked, but most people giggled along.
Well,
It
yeah.
took a minute to realize that I was having a great time.
Yeah, that's the thing. You help. You helped. Because if you would have been aghast or something, it would have been terrible. But the fact that you were on board with it and stuff. So we roasted Lily and we had a great time doing it. And then we brought out performers and there was pickup artists and it was super cool. And then at the end, everybody got together and did a group number. Red Stamper was there. Like all of Lily's great friends were there and they all performed in her costumes doing her routines. It was super cool. Bella Luna did a nice job. And everybody was just great. It was really fun, and I was able to MC and meet her family and do that neat stuff, and it was a really good time. Yeah, I love going to the teas. It was fun.
And you had everybody sign the script for me. Thank you.
I did do that, and I gave you my set list because I had typed out the jokes, and then we signed it, and I made sure, because again, that's a cool thing to do, right? It's your neat thing. So someday, if you want to frame it or keep it or whatever you want to do, but I had all the performers sign their name and give a little note to Lily, and then I gave her a note as well, and then I gave her the jokes. They were actually I printed them out on paper, and I signed that too. So that was pretty neat. Not that I needed to sign it, but I just wanted her to have a keepsake of the night, because 10 years, that's a big deal. So it was fantastic. It was a really good night. I was happy to be involved because I love doing it. It's really fun, and I will be honest with you, it helped me. Because I haven't done a live show in a long time. I think the last live show I did was a while ago. I mean, I can't even remember, but it made me want to get back on stage. So I happened to be at the Podfest this week. I'll get to that in a second, but thank you for including me because it made me realize again what I'm supposed to be doing. So that was helpful, and I appreciate it very much. So the Monday Night Teas, who's coming up this week? Let's talk about that.
Tito Benito, Nikita Bitch Project, Valerie Stunning out of Las Vegas, Vicky Fahrenheit here in LA.
Is that Vicky from It's a Small World, the robot show?
No.
Okay, good. Vicky the robot from Small Wonder. That's what it
Lyra
is.
LaBelle is going to be performing on Monday as well. It's her birthday this weekend, and so it's going to be a great show.
Lyra LaBelle is very blonde and very beautiful.
She runs the Blonde Review.
Okay. Well, she should run it right up to the hilt and run it up to the stage and let everybody approve of it because it's going to be a fantastic show this week. So Lyra LaBelle and Valerie Stunning. I like the name Valerie Stunning. That's a good name. So that'll be fun.
Up to it.
Does she? All right, so everybody come on out to the Monday Night Teas. Remember to go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas and get all of the information for the shows. You can see all the photos of past shows, not the photos of the show that I did yet.
They're starting to go up.
Yeah, they're going to go up because the photographer is backed up, so he's going to get his stuff up and get it all squared away. But there will be photos of that show, photos of all shows. If you go to facebook.com/Monday Night Teas, and then, of course, you go to brownpapertickets.com and you Google Lily's name, search Lily's name or search Monday Night Teas. All of the tickets are available for all of the upcoming shows that we have coming up. And I understand there's some meat fests that are going to be happening. There's all sorts of neat stuff coming up on the dais for fall and winter. So make sure you guys go ahead and follow along at facebook.com/Monday Night Teas. Or if you go to brownpapertickets.com, you'll see any tickets that are on sale there and scoop them up because they're all fantastic shows. Like I said, I'm doing Podfest this weekend. Let's talk about this for just a second. The Podfest, which I'm very honored to be asked to be at the Los Angeles Podcast Festival. It's really cool. I love being there, my peers, and having you guys come out, being able to meet you and do a show for you. They just informed me last week that they're selling a live stream of the Pod Festival. First of all, let's talk about this real quick. If you want to buy tickets, there's still a chance to buy tickets for the show. If you want to buy 1-day passes, 2-day, 3-day passes, you can go to tiny.cc/40YOBPOD, 40YOBpod, right? I believe that's what it is. You can go to tiny.cc/40YOBpod, and you will get a link where you can buy tickets, and then we get credit for that, which is pretty cool. Thank you. But if you cannot make it to Los Angeles, if you're not going to be in town, I was just informed that you can buy a live stream where you will be able to see all of the shows. And I guess that includes mine, which I am not going to lie to you is really fucking weird. I don't know how to process that. That's really odd. Because I do this for you guys and I'm in your ears, but to be in front of you, I kind of like being live, and I don't know if they're going to video it. I don't fucking know. It was kind of a surprise to me. But here's the code. If you want to buy, and here's the way it works. You guys can get this code, and you will go ahead and have access to all of the shows. I assume, and again, you must go and read the rules, because I don't really know the rules. But if you go to lapodfest.com/live, and you use the coupon code Schmidt, and they gave it to me as all lowercase. I don't know if that matters, but if you go SCHMIDT, you will, I will get credit for that, and the show will get money and credit, and you will go ahead and be able to observe all of the shows, including, I suppose, mine. I don't know why you would want to see me talking on stage. And my show, I'm kind of freaked out about this. I won't lie. Because again, I tune myself up over fucking anything, basically. It doesn't matter. I think I should be talking. I think I should be live. I think I should be on stage, and I'm excited. But I wasn't sure what I was going to talk about on Saturday. And, 2 years ago, I did the Schmitty Comes Alive story, which was the story about me working at the grocery store. And then last year, I introduced the story about the massage parlor, which I wound up doing on here as well. And that was my live show I took around for a little bit. And so I kind of use Podfest as a way to debut new stuff. Like because I like being that guy. I like you guys paying and coming to the Podfest, and then you get to see something different. But I'll be honest with you, man. If they're live streaming it, and I don't mean this is going to sound weird like a punishment. I mean, no, but it's exciting on one hand. I may just do a story that you've heard before, but you'll get a chance to see me do it live. I haven't decided yet. And I know you're thinking to yourself, hey, Mike, it's fucking Thursday. Maybe you want to go ahead and decide on that because the show is Saturday. And you're right. I absolutely should. And it'll probably be some bizarre mix of fucking all of it. And honestly, I thought about talking about this on stage. Like literally just doing this where I just told you about what the fuck I planned on doing. And then by the time the show was over, I'd go, so I guess that's what I did. Ha fucking idiot. So I don't know. And I don't know if this is too inside baseball or too much of a peek behind the curtain, but because other podcasts are different. Let's go ahead and throw this out there. And I know this is going to sound fucking dumb and you're going to be mad, whatever. But other shows, there's like 5 dudes sitting around talking, or one dude talking to 2 other dudes and a bunch of comics. And there's a lot of plate spinning by a bunch of different dudes. They're all keeping the funny floating. Okay. You know what it is? Other podcasts are like Dodger Stadium and everyone keeps the beach ball in the air. I'm like Dodger Stadium in fucking January. There's one dude, and he's got to chase that beach ball all over the fucking stands because nobody's going to hit it back to him. And I'll tell you what, it's even worse if there's a Mike Schmidt inside of the giant beach ball and he's trying to run somewhere and there's no group of people to keep him aloft. So that's what it is. You know what? My show is like Wayne Coyne from the Flaming Lips in the bubble if there was no crowd. So I'm a little, because it's like essentially the show's a stand-up show. So it's like a live stand-up show. Fuck, I don't know. Why am I even telling you this? You don't care, right? Do they care? Should I tell them this?
Everybody cares.
I know everybody cares, but you as a producer, put your producer hat on, podcasting mom. Was this stupid to talk about? Okay, because I don't know, man. I don't fucking know anymore. I get told, you shouldn't say that, or you should say this, or whoever the fuck. I don't know. I don't care. I do care. That's why I'm asking. But the bottom line is, if you go to lapodfest.com/live and use the code Schmidt, you will get a live stream. And honestly, you may decide never to fucking watch me. I mean, that's fine. Go ahead and watch somebody else. That's what I'm basically talking you out of. Just use my code to buy something and go watch everybody else. Don't fucking watch me. But here's the thing that really freaked me out a little bit. I'm an idiot. Why did it freak me out? Because they get 3 weeks worth of access to the show. So like they watch me, you can watch me live, or you have 3 weeks to watch me later. That's the thing. It's up there for 3 weeks. And so if you buy it, you have access for 3 weeks to all the shows. And that's cool, I guess. But I got the code late. So like some of you may have already used other codes from other shows to buy the streaming. And so we don't get credit for it. And I'm a dumb fuck. I don't know. It just, the whole thing broke bad on me from the jump. So I called them. They were nice and everything's cool. So bottom line is I want the LA Podcast Festival to succeed because I want to come back next year. And so if you want to see me live and you're still coming to town, you want to buy tickets, go to tiny.cc/40YOBPOD. That's tiny.cc/40YOBpod. But if you want to just watch me from the comfort of your own home, if you want to pay-per-view Mike Schmidt sweating and talking on stage while people stare and don't laugh, then you should go to lapodfest.com/live and use the coupon code or the buy code or the purchase code Schmidt, SCHMIDT, and that will get you access to all of the shows, but you will choose to watch me at your convenience, or you will choose to turn me off at your insistence. I have no idea how you want to run it. But go ahead and do that. So lapodfest.com/live, and that's for you. And I'll tell you what, this is also for you. Why don't I do this? Here's what I'm going to do. Folks, I'm going to be the Cal Worthington in his dog spot of podcasts right now. I've got an offer for you. I've got a deal for you. And some of you have no idea who Cal Worthington, his dog spot were. So you know who I am? I'm a Harry Schmerler, your singing Ford dealer. That's who I am. Or perhaps I'm Bert, whatever the fuck the guy's name. Who was the guy? Bert Wyman, your TV Ford man. That was the guy in Chicago. I'm Bert Wyman, your TV Ford man. I have an offer. This is dumb, and I don't even know if this is a good offer. I have no idea. Although with the way things have been going, perhaps it is a good offer. I don't know. But I'll tell you what, folks. If you go to lapodfest.com/live and you use the offer code Schmidt, again, you'll save $5. You get to see shows for 3 weeks. It's an amazing deal for you, but I'll tell you this, I'm throwing it in. I'm sweetening the deal, or I'm queering the deal. I'm not sure what I'm doing. Something is about to happen to the deal. I will tell you that right now. If you take that code Schmidt and you use it and you buy the streaming and you save yourself some money and you make me some money, send me proof. I don't know how that works. If there's a receipt you can take, a screenshot, I don't know. I'm unaware of how this works. My IT guy is off this week. But if you send me proof, if you use the code and you send me proof to schmittycallme@gmail.com, I will call you, ladies and gentlemen, and thank you. Thank you for making that purchase. I am so stupid. So basically, yeah, so I will keep schmittycallme@gmail.com alive for you fine folks who go ahead and buy the streaming for the LA Podfest live deal, lapodfest.com/live. So if you buy it using my code Schmidt and you make me some money, make Mike money, hashtag make Mike money. We'll call it that. Hashtag make Mike money, capitalize those M's. And then you send me proof and your phone number. You got to send your phone number because I'm not going to be able to fucking find you in directory assistance. Things have changed, folks. I can't call Mabel and twist my phone around and go, hey, Brooklyn 5714. No, I have to find out where you are. So you have to send me your phone number with no exchange. So send me proof that you made this purchase. Proof of purchase, folks. Tear those fucking flaps off your Wheaties box and send them to me. Proof of purchase that you bought the streaming live Podfest thing at lapodfest.com/live and you used the code Schmidt, saved yourself $5, made me some money. Send me proof of that along with your phone number to schmittycallme@gmail.com and I will personally call you and thank you. All right? It's a stupid idea, I know, but I don't care. I'm doing it. All right. Go to MikeSchmidtComedy.com. And you can go to the Joe Business page. We got all sorts of cool stuff up there. We've got the Big Angry CD, which I was real proud of. You guys can pick that up, and I'll personally sign it for you and send it off. We've got the Dirt shirt available. We got year 1, year 2, year 3, year 4, year 5, and year 6 of this podcast available individually or collectively as the Reservoir Schmidt Dog set, which is worth it for the artwork alone. Of course, there's tweakedaudio.com, who are great sponsors of the show. I'm hoping Bruce will be at the LA Podfest because he was very nice to me last year when I saw him. He's a super cool dude, and he supports this show with their autoerotic asphyxiation earbuds and their cock ring watches, which, if you see Bruce at the LA Podfest, he will demonstrate for you if you ask him nicely. Just go, hey, dude, whip on a cock ring watch, and boom, there you go, and then the police show up. So it'll be fun. And also, we have the Amazon banner on the wall because we are Amazon affiliates. And if you click through on that Amazon banner, you get to Amazon.com and you buy stuff and we get credit for it. Well, first you go to my store and then you click through to real Amazon and then we get credit for whatever you went ahead and purchased. And I said to you, hey, you know what? If you want to send me what you bought, I'll talk about it on the show. Hey, people who've sent me what you bought, thanks. Let's talk about it on the show. Let's talk about our good friend, Justin Mantell. Now, here's something you don't know about Justin Mantell. He is the son of professional wrestler Dutch Mantell. What? That's right, and the cousin of professional wrestlers Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo. A lot of that is not true. However, he is still Justin Mantell, no matter how you want to slice it. And you know what Justin Mantell bought? Let's talk about Justin Mantell's purchases. Here's something he bought. 9 doorknobs and a pair of khakis. And he bought that on 9/16. And he actually wrote, I got the world by the fucking tail, Mike. And then he bought this. I can't wait to see this because this is astonishing to me. Again, like I said, I thought people were buying fucking buttons and string. He bought a Tea Leaf Dream eye coil and memory foam hybrid queen mattress. And that's about 4 figures. I don't want to get into how much our friend Justin Mantell spent for his mattress, but I will tell you he bought $300 worth of fucking doorknobs. That's a man right there, folks. He has got the world by the fucking tail. Way to go, Mantell. So thank you, Justin. I appreciate it. And there are other people actually who have sent me the things that they've purchased from Amazon. Our friend KC. Now I'm going to read these things, and I get, dude, this looks like a fucking eye chart. I have no idea what this is. All right, but ready. Our friend KC Bills purchased 2 of Ubiquiti NanoStation Loco M2, 2 of Ubiquiti Networks NanoStation window wall mount, ASUS 5-port 10-100 1000 Mbps desktop switch with green network GX-D1051/V3 robot. Ubiquiti NanoStation Loco M5 HP CF385A number sign BGJ LaserJet Pro, and an M476 NW wireless color laser multifunction printer with scanner, copier, and fax. That's what our friend Casey Bills is about. Oh, you know what? He also used it while ordering his kids' school supplies and some other stuff. But this is a good start. And so I want to thank Casey Bills. Casey Bills makes me laugh. I know, actually, I called Casey Bills. I had to. I mean, I didn't have to. I wanted to. I'll talk more about that next week. But let's talk about Casey for just a second. Because Casey Bills is a guy, I've met him, and he's coming to see me in Wisconsin a few times. And just a really nice man. And I actually have his phone number in my phone. He still sent it to schmittycallme@gmail.com. But I have his number. And I called him. And again, Casey Bills is like the Dr. Lecter of podcast listeners because I'm calling. Look, I'm the fucking talent. I'm calling you Casey Bills, and he's just like, oh, hi. Like, yeah, it's Mike Schmidt, Casey, and he goes, yeah. I'm like, all right, well, you wanted me to call you for the Schmitty call me, and he's like, yeah, good, okay. Like, it just could not be motivated at all to make me think that I was important in any way, shape, or form. He just acted like I was bothering him, quite frankly, and I don't blame him because honestly, if you're sitting around trying to put together a Ubiquiti NanoStation Loco M5 HP CF385A number BGJ LaserJet Pro M476 NW wireless color laser multifunction printer with scanner, copier, and fax, then why the fuck do you want a podcaster calling you in the middle of that? God damn it, that's a lot of hookup nonsense. So thank you so much there. I appreciate that for all of your ordering stuff, Casey Bills, and our friend, like I said, Justin Mantell. And, let's squeeze one more in here. Our friend Jim Donovan wrote me. And Jim was like, dude, here's some stuff I bought. I bought luggage for my motorcycle through your link at Amazon. And which is good for him. I don't know why you would need luggage for a motorcycle. I don't know if it's that sidecar stuff or the side stuff, but he also purchased, he actually, I don't know if I mentioned him on here. He sent me a copy of Eddie Murphy and Martin Lawrence's Life, the movie Life. I don't know if I get to mention it, but he bought that through Amazon, but it was pre-affiliation, Jim tells us. So we don't get any information, we don't get any credit for that. However, I did get a lovely film out of it, which I have not watched yet, Jim, but I promise I will. I've been very, very busy trying to catch up on all of the Dragnets I've seen 8 times. So as soon as those are done, I will go ahead and make myself watch the other thing. Have I mentioned the LA Podfest? I don't know if I was able to mention that yet. There's a code you can use if you want to watch the streaming stuff at lapodfest.com/live and use the code Schmidt to purchase it because then we get money. All right. Also, if you go to tinycc.40YOBPOD. By the way, I do know that I've said it. Don't think I'm crazy. I don't want people at home going, does he have no idea what he said? No, I did. I'm just being silly and inserting it a second time to try to get you to buy it. Or come down. And if you don't come down to see me, that's fine. Come down and say hello. That'll be nice. But again, remember that my show is this weekend, Saturday, September 27th. The show is at noon. If you can come out to the show, that's great. Like I said, you can buy the tickets at tiny.cc/40YOBPOD. But if you can watch the live streaming for the entire festival, go to lapodfest.com/live. Use the code Schmidt to purchase. That'd be perfect. Please remember that there's plenty of shows to watch, but I will be performing on Saturday at noon. I will finish my show, and then I will be there for about a couple hours before I have to bug out and go to the airport. But I will be there to meet and greet and say hi and shake hands. But I will be there Friday night as well for the big-time meet and greet with the drinking and the food and the hanging around and talking and the staring and the uncomfortable looks back and forth between people you think you recognize and people you don't ever want to speak to again. So good. Come on out to that show on Friday, not show, the meet and greet. And then there's shows Friday night. And also, like I said, Saturday, I'm at noon. Come to my show, and then we'll all hang out afterwards and wonder what went wrong. Now, if you look at your iPod right now, or you look at your screen, your computer screen, you look wherever you look, I don't know. You may notice the artwork it's a little different this week for the artwork. We had, I got a little surprise to you tonight. I turned the pen and quill over to Ace Frehley. No, Lily von Stupp. Went ahead and doodled some art for me because I am woefully untalented when it comes to art. You know what? We might do. I don't know if it'll work, though. I was going to have me holding the artwork. So then it's like actually a picture of me holding the artwork. Can't do it. We won't make it work. Lily says no. Podcasting mom says no. So it's
It's really small. I wouldn't show with your head and everything.
Wow. Everybody hates my
We
skull.
can try it.
We don't have to. It's fine.
We'll see.
So just go ahead and throw that up. Whatever you're seeing is this week's artwork because the man, David Hernandez at artbydmh.com, was overwhelmed with real life. Real life does interfere occasionally. And he and my godson, I think, had to dress up as ninjas and go fight some ghosts. I think that's what happened. That's my guess. Regardless, they were unable to use the paints. Although, actually, you know what? I apologize. I did speak to him, and he said, I don't have any paintbrushes. And I said, what? And he goes, yeah, and I don't have any paint. I said, what? And he said, yeah, I don't have a canvas either. And I said, dude, aren't there stores for that sort of thing? And he said, click. No, like I said, I apologize. It's the Ninja Ghost story. So they're dressed up as ninjas fighting ghosts, and he was unable to do the artwork. So if you look very carefully, you will see why don't we just go ahead? We're going to use the artwork that you doodled earlier in the day, right? Earlier in the show, where with the horns that I'm driving the car. So that's me in a Nissan Xterra.
Well,
Hitting my elbow. So if you see it, folks, there's me in a Nissan Xterra hitting my elbow. So I hope that you enjoy it. I hope it comes out well. Again, I don't know what it is. Right now, it's just on a pad of paper. Lily is in charge of, I don't know, photographing it or photocopying it or however she handles it. Because, again, I don't know anything. I come here and I talk. That's how I handle things. So enjoy that artwork and see all the multi-talented stuff that Lily brings. She's a Swiss Army knife. She's the Swiss Army knife of this podcast. Actually, David is the Swiss Army knife of this podcast. Lily is the bottle opener of this podcast, I think. I don't know. It means nothing. I don't know. It means you honestly, open me a bottle so I can get fucking drunk and forget the fact that I don't have any artwork this week, unfortunately, because
you have artwork.
I do. It's amazing. So check that out. That's our friend Lily. She went ahead and doodled that, and it's exciting. And you know what? Should I do a doodle as well? We have competing doodles, and put up my doodle against your doodle. I don't think we should because my doodle is awful. I am not a doodler.
It's not the doodle from the Wednesday.
Yeah, I know that was horrendous. I can't believe you said that, but that's fine.
I'm gonna edit this part out. I think.
You think so?
No.
I'd say you leave it in there. I just because nobody heard you, like, really. And so I like the fact that people are going to it's going to be like Blow Up with John Travolta. They're going to be turning it way up to hear what you said and try to figure out what it is. It's going to be a loud noise that bursts through their head. They're going to have no clue. Just trying to sort it out and figure out exactly what you brought to the table with that remark. And they're going to be like, I think she said this, but I'm not sure. That'll be, you know what? That's the rosebud of this podcast for the rest of our lives. That's actually the rosebud where everybody ponders the mystery of what Lily said at the end of fucking episode. Oh, by the way, do you know that you made last week episode 30? Or two episodes ago, I don't know. It's episode 20, but you wrote and our friend Brian wrote it on the Westside 86 Jokers page. He goes 18, 19, 30. But then I went over to iTunes and it says, yep, episode 30, and I was like, all right, well, that's fine. So just make sure that this one is 21 or whatever the fuck, so people don't get confused. But that, you know what? I think that lends some branding specialness.
I did do that, but it was corrected like within 10 seconds. They couldn't have. Mine downloaded as episode 20.
Did it? Mine downloaded as episode 30.
Well, okay. Go to your iTunes
Yes.
and delete it, and then just re-download it.
Re-download
and
it.
Down correctly.
So, okay, if you guys want, but people have already downloaded this one and they hear it, and so
It'll come in and it'll drop in properly.
you think it'll go in order?
And yeah, just unsubscribe, delete it, resubscribe, and it'll automatically download it. And it'll automatically download it properly.
Here's me telling people to unsubscribe to my podcast. Honestly, like I said, I always talk.
Subscribe in order to make it work.
I talk people out of listening all the time, but this is really a step too far, quite frankly. Hey, unsubscribe from this podcast, everybody listening. That would be great.
It didn't even do it for me. So how did it do it for everybody else?
It did it for me. Because I laughed when I saw when he wrote it. He goes, episode 18, 19, 30. Brian wrote it on the 86 Jokers page. And then I went and looked, and I go, sure enough, fuck it. Yeah, I got episode 30 in my iTunes. It made me laugh. And I was like, all right, well, again, like I said, that would add some specialness to year 7. Because I think in year 6, didn't we have like an episode 53? We had an episode 36, Vin. We've had all these different episodes. So this year, we've got episode 18, 19. There will be 2 episode 30s. There will be 2 episode 30s.
There won't be because it's episode 20 now.
But when I...
Fixed immediately.
When we sell the year 7, though, it's going to have 2 episode 30 because I have episode 30 in mine, unless you think I can download it and it does a thing. Because I'll tell you what, if it goes 19/21/20, I'm going to throw my computer out the window. You know me. I mean, I can't stare at that for the rest of my life. If it's that fucking switcheroo, I will be totally lost. I can't even take the chance. I'd rather have 19/30/21.
I can resend you the episode.
What? Well, I'm very special. See, podcasting mom, she's nice to me sometimes. She doesn't just always ground me.
I said it with anger, though.
Ha!
Go unsubscribe, delete it, and resubscribe, and then download it, and it will be the proper episode.
This is all you have to do with our show, folks. Just go ahead and unsubscribe it and delete it. That's how you handle the 40-Year-Old Boy podcast, folks. You unsubscribe and then you delete. Delete all of the episodes and unsubscribe. That's the way we want to handle our show. Just episode...
If it downloaded incorrectly, good for you. You have a hidden...
It's like a unicorn. It's totally a unicorn for podcasting. It's like, yeah, that's awesome, man.
I'm going to quit soon.
You're not quitting. You don't get to quit producing. Again, like I just said, you were performing and producing for 10 years, and you got 10 more in you. Absolutely. We've got 10 more in this podcast. You better have at least 3, because, but I said by the time I get to 50, we got to end when I turn, literally my 50th birthday, if we do a podcast, remember, it ends with a gunshot. I mean, we've talked about that. There's not even a question. So you have to stick around at least 3 more years, because I can't be producing that shit myself. How the fuck can I produce a show and then shoot myself in the fucking head? It'll never be released. So you have to let me shoot myself in the head, and then you release it to everybody, and they hear it. It'll be fantastic.
We're not doing that here.
If we're here in 3 years, I kill myself before then. If we're still in the oldest building in Hollywood by the time I'm 50, Jesus Christ. I'll tell you what, here's the way it'll work. I'll do a Bud Dwyer. I'll call a press conference. We'll finish the fucking show. You can record it in some office somewhere. We'll rent some office space. I'll tell you what, by the time we get to that, because that's year 10. Okay? That's year 10 of this podcast, because I will be 50. I'll be 50, it's year 10, and I will just have a fucking lead salad. Let's just do that. Let's just fucking go ahead and end it in a hail of goddamn bullets. Let's have some goddamn gunfire and make that's a reason for people to keep listening. Remember that unsubscribe and delete? Fuck all that. You got to stick around to 50 to hear a fucking fuselage of bullets just going into my fucking skull at the end of the goddamn episode. That'll be perfect. Literally, this show starts as a tiny snowball, and at the end, the hundreds are dead at the bottom of a ravine. I mean, I get that. Believe me, if there's any show in the history of the world that does not need to be transcribed for posterity, it's this one. I like when nobody can see the seams. I like when I'm able to kind of just, fly with the bees wherever. When I have to actually stop the bees and ask for directions, that's not fun. I just like unleashing the bees, but when the bees have to stop in mid-flight and we all just kind of look at each other and bust out a fucking map, that's not fun at all. I want to saddle up these bees and ride, goddammit! I'm done.